Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to you, wherever you are in the world. I'm Robert Miles, actor, writer, director, and creator of the Shakespeare Deck, and this is The Show Must Go Online, bringing you live, multi-award-winning performed readings of Shakespeare's complete plays every week. A global cast and crew of all levels of experience donate their time and talent freely as part of a bold new mission to create Shakespeare for everyone for free, forever, every Wednesday night. Thank you so much. If you're joining us at home, let us know where in the world you are. Many, if not all, of the creatives involved continue to face an uncertain future in theatre as a result of the ongoing pandemic. So if you'd like to donate to them in return for their performance this evening, please consider making a contribution via our Patreon page. There is a link in the description. Tonight's performed reading of Troilus and Cressida will commence in approximately 15 minutes' time. The first of what are called the problem plays, we enter a truly problematic and knotty season in Shakespeare's writing career. Trigger warnings for this show include violence and acts of sexual aggression. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, remember to hit the bell icon to receive all notifications, and of course remember to follow us at TSMG Online Live on Twitter or at The Show Must Go Online on Insta and Facebook. And now, to introduce tonight's play, brought to us as always by the marvellous Ben Crystal, it's Vanessa I. Corredera. Vanessa I. Corredera is an associate professor in and chair of the English department at Andrews University. Her work focuses on representations of gender and race in both adaptations and appropriations of Shakespeare, especially popular culture. These themes inform her book on anti-Black and anti-racist appropriations of Othello in post-racial America, forthcoming with Edinburgh University Press. Vanessa, the play is Troilus and Cressida, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much to Ben for the invitation and to Rob for that introduction and to everyone for what I'm sure will be an amazing performance. So Troilus and Cressida, a contestation for power between two long warring sides, a pair of lovers separated from each other against their will who remain divided, a romantic betrayal that never gets resolved. These are all elements of Shakespeare's play, Troilus and Cressida. And yet, oddly, the play is often categorized as a comedy. I, however, would agree with what Rob said and what others say and call it a problem play, for it is difficult to categorize it because of its divergent storylines, range of tones, and competing perspectives. It is no wonder that this play is one of Shakespeare's less commonly performed dramas. But as a scholar of Shakespeare adaptation and appropriation, I find Troilus and Cressida interesting precisely because of these challenges. This play is Shakespeare's version of tackling the greats, primarily the Greek poet Homer and the English poet Geoffrey Chaucer. He reinterprets the former by using characters and storylines from Homer's foundational, remarkably influential epic poem, the Iliad. He reimagines the latter by highlighting the lover's tale in Chaucer's well-known medieval chivalric romance, Troilus and Cressida. In Troilus and Cressida, Homer's characters transform significantly, even dramatically. For instance, in the Iliad, Achilles defeats Hector, but in Shakespeare's play, this defeat occurs when Hector has taken off his armor, making it a much less glorious, more ignominious conquest for Achilles. And in another significant difference, Chaucer has Cressida's concerns about how to reunite with Troilus occur over 10 days, and she shares much more of her thoughts and emotions than Shakespeare's Cressida. These changes highlight important themes in the play related to masculine reputation and female sexuality. But before we talk about themes, first, a brief synopsis. The play begins as most epic poems do, in medias res, or in the middle of things. Trojans, Troilus, and Cressida are in love, but have not consummated their relationship. They eventually do with the help of a go-between, oddly her uncle, Pandarus. Unfortunately, the very morning after they sleep together, Troilus and Cressida learn that the Trojans have traded Cressida to the Greeks for the Trojan captive Tichenor. As they part, Troilus gives her his sleeve as a token of their love, and she gives him her glove. In this moment, there is significant foreshadowing as Troilus reminds her to be true over and over again. In other words, faithful, both emotionally and sexually. But what necessitates this trade in the first place? The Greeks and the Trojans are at war, yet there are also factions within each camp. The Trojans debate whether to proceed with the war or return the stolen Helen back to her husband, the Greek Menelaus, while within the Greek camp, characters such as Agamemnon, Ulysses, Ajax, and Achilles engage in contestations for power and recognition. These threads come together when Hector, Ulysses, and Troilus are invited to the Greek camp. While there, of course, Troilus goes to find Cressida. But when he reaches her father's tent, the Greek Diomedes is propositioning her, and to Troilus's utter despair, she returns Diomedes' affection, even if somewhat plagued by guilt. Diomedes takes Troilus' sleeve from Cressida. She chastises women's nature for being too unfaithful, and Troilus vows to defeat Diomedes on the battlefield. The play concludes with a final confrontation between Greeks and Trojans, in which honor, glory, and triumph are in short supply. Indeed, the last lines in this play belong to the suffering Pandarus, who bequeaths his venereal diseases to the audience. So tonight, with all that oddness, I want to end my thoughts by tracing 3 themes that might allow us to make connections between the play and our present moment that would help us tackle the problems within Troilus and Cressida. The first is masculinity and pride. Questions of masculinity, worth, and pride reside in both the foreground and background of Troilus and Cressida. In fact, 2 stories that loom large over the narrative, even if the details are never expounded upon, share this theme. First is why the Greeks and the Trojans are fighting in the first place. It's over Helen. In short, Paris was asked to choose the most beautiful goddess between Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite. Aphrodite bribed him with Helen, and as they say, the rest is history. Essentially, the entire Trojan War becomes the quest for Menelaus to retrieve Helen and restore both his reputation and that of the Greeks. Similarly, a contest over a woman is behind Achilles' refusal to fight. For when King Agamemnon took away Achilles' war prize, Briseis, and took her as his own, Achilles refused to engage in any battle further. Pretty much a big boy tantrum. The same attention to masculinity, pride, and status can be seen in the debate over whether the Trojans should return Helen to the Greeks. What would this say about them as a people? And just as importantly, what would it say about Paris if he cannot keep his new wife? Similarly, despite supernatural premonitions experienced by his family, Hector refuses to stay home for the final battle because of his honor. And consider how, upon learning that Cressida must be traded, Troilus pretty much accepts it and expresses more concern for his reputation when he insists that Aeneas not reveal that he was found in Cressida's chamber. This moment truly highlights the primacy of men in the play, for Pandarus also thinks first of Troilus declaring that the young prince will go mad and therefore not achieve primacy, even as Cressida begs for someone to tell her what is going on. Men's reputations clearly reign supreme. On the surface, these men may seem like foolish, heartless individuals making poor choices, but we live in a day and age where we know, for example, that at least in the US, men are much less likely to wear a mask to protect others from COVID-19 than women. In other words, masculinity and pride as drives for behavior are not just part of ancient, medieval, or Renaissance pasts, but rather very much of the present. A second theme is that of desire. Who and what is desired? Who is allowed to express desire? Which forms of desire are considered socially acceptable? According to Hector, a good nation has a way to curb the very appetites that have drawn Helen to Troy. Already one can see that the play draws some distinctions between the desire to fight and the desire to woo, or really the desire to enjoy the fruits of wooing. This expectation of restraint is heightened for women. Notice how Cressida feels as if she cannot approach Troilus directly. Men may express their desires, but it seems women may not, or at least not freely. When Cressida does articulate her desires, as cloaked in puns and wordplay as they may be, she too reveals hierarchies through her racialized language, as she teasingly points to Troilus's brown skin or complexion to suggest that he is not favorable, or at least not as much as Paris, a comment not at all different from Pandarus's similar cheeky dismissal of Cressida, I care not and she were a blackamoor. What hierarchies inform desire today? Is expressing desire for war still privileged over expressing sexual desire? What about gender expectations of desire? Consider the fact that hundreds of years later, boys may still be boys, but we have yet to craft the same laissez-faire expression to encompass female behavior. What are racialized standards applied to attraction? What does it mean that it took until 2017 for there to be a black bachelorette and until 2020 for there to be a black bachelor on the eponymous dating shows? The hierarchical nature of desire seems to be very much with us. And finally, I want to conclude with what I see as one of the most challenging themes or ideas in the play, the worth of women and their reputations. Troilus and Cressida repeatedly asks what value women have. For instance, the Trojans debate whether Helen is worth the war. Cressida wonders if Troilus will still love her if she sleeps with him. And even the morning after, she worries that she should have held out a little longer. But such fretting may be pointless because a woman's worth seems determined before she can exert any agency. Note how Diomedes blames Helen for the numerous Greek losses, even though, as the play makes clear, a number of decisions have gone into extending the war. Similarly, Cressida's worth appears to be always already devalued. Only Aeneas seems to recognize her as a full human being when he calls her a sacrifice to the Greeks. In contrast, Pandarus and Troilus appear to see her as a problem from the outset. For as Pandarus states, even before she has slept with Troilus, let all constant men be Troiluses, all false women Cressida. The cost of perceiving and treating women as objects becomes especially apparent when the Greek soldiers kiss Cressida again and again and again. Cressida is damned if she does, damned if she does not. If she is silent, she appears complicit. It is a version of, why didn't you say no? Why didn't you fight back? But when she uses the only power she has, her voice, intelligence, and wit, they too are seen as signs of her sexual desire. Many women today seem to and do have much more sexual agency than Cressida. But before we applaud our gender progressivism, how different really is Ulysses' claim that her wanton spirits look out at every doing and motive of her body to Blurred Lines' assertion, good girl, no more pretending, I know you want it. Of course, it's easy to dismiss questions of gender, desire, and power that I have just outlined, given how Cressida ultimately does prove unfaithful to Troilus, seems to show no remorse when she says this fault in us, speaking of women, I find, the error of our eyes directs our mind, and then is not heard from again for the rest of the play. But I would ask, how might Cressida be a scapegoat that allows one to avoid grappling with the knotty questions regarding gender, reputation, desire, sex, and most importantly, power that I just outlined? We must remember, just as Othello is always a Black man written by a white man, Cressida is a woman originally written and rewritten by men, retold, yet not really adapted in meaningful ways. I hope this has been helpful in beginning to tackle this difficult play. Enjoy tonight's performance of Troilus and Cressida.
In Troy, there lies the scene. From isles of Greece, the princes Augulus, their high blood chafed, have to the port of Athens sent their ships fraught with the ministers and instruments of cruel war. 69 that wore their crownets regal from the Athenian bay put forth towards Phrygia, and there vow is made to ransack Troy, within whose strong immerse there ravished Helen, Menelaus' queen, with wanton Paris sleeps. And that's the quarrel. To Tenedos they come, and the deep drawing barks do there disgorge their warlike fraughtage. Now, on Dardan plains, the fresh and yet unbruised Greeks do pitch their brave pavilions. Dardan, Priam's six-gated city, Dardan and Timbria, Helios, Chetus, Troyan and Antenorides, with massy staples and corresponsive and fulfilling bolts, stir up the sons of Troy. Now, expectation. Ticklish, skittish spirits on one side and other, Trojan and Greeks, sets all on hazard. And hither come I, to tell you, fair beholders, that our play leaps over the vaunts and firstlings of those broils, beginning in the middle, starting thence away to what may be digested in a play. Like or find fault, do as your pleasures are. Now good or bad, 'tis but the chance of war.
Act 1, Scene 1, Troy, before Priam's palace. Enter Pandarus and Troilus.
Call here my valet. I'll unarm again. Why should I war without the walls of Troy, that find such cruel battle here within? Each Trojan that is master of his heart, let him to field. Troilus, alas,
Will
hath none.
this gear ne'er be mended?
The Greeks are strong and skillful to their strength, fierce to their skill, and to their fierceness valiant. But I am weaker than a woman's tear, tamer than sleep, fonder than ignorance, less valiant than the virgin in the night, and skillless as unpracticed infancy.
Well, I have told you enough of this. For my part, I'll not meddle nor make no farther. He that will have a cake out of the wheat must needs tarry the grinding.
Have I not tarried?
Aye, the grinding, but you must tarry the bolting.
Have I not tarried?
Aye, the bolting, but you must tarry the leavening.
Still, have I tarried?
Yea, to the leavening, but here's yet in the word hereafter, the kneading, the making of the cake, the heating the oven, and the baking. Nay, you must stay the cooling too, or you may chance burn your lips.
Patience herself, what goddess ere she be, doth less a blench at suffrance than I do. At Priam's royal table do I sit, and when fair Cressida comes into my thoughts, so traitor, when she comes, when is she thence?
Well, she looked yesternight fairer than ever I saw her look, or any woman else. And her hair were not somewhat darker than Helen's. Well, go to. There were no more comparison between the women. But for my part, she is my kinswoman. I would not, as they term it, praise her.
PANDARUS, I tell thee I am mad in Cressida's love. Thou answerest, she is fair. Poorest in the open also of my heart, her eyes, her hair, her cheek, her gait, her voice. But saying thus, instead of oil and balm, thou layest in every gash that love hath given me the knife that made it.
I speak no more than truth.
Thou dost not speak so much.
Faith, I'll not meddle in it. Let her be as she is. If she be fair, 'tis the better for her. And if she be not, she has the mends in her own hands.
Good Pandus. How now, Pandarus?
I have had my labour for my travail, ill thought on of her, and ill thought on of you. Gone between and between, but small thanks for my labour.
What? Art thou angry, Pandarus? What with me?
Well, because she's kin to me, therefore she's not so fair as Helen. And if she were not kin to me, she would be as fair a Friday as Helen is on Sunday. But what care I?
Say I she is not fair.
I do not care whether you do or no. She's a fool to stay behind her father. Let her to the Greeks. And so I'll tell her next time I see her. For my part, I'll meddle no more, make no more in the matter.
Pandarus.
Not I.
Sweet Pandarus.
Pray you speak no more to me. I will leave all as I found it, and there an end.
Peace, you ungracious clamours. Peace, rude sounds. Fools on both sides. Helen must needs be fair when with your blood you daily paint her thus. But Pandarus, oh gods, how do you plague me? I cannot come to Cressida but by Pandar, and he's as tetchy to be wooed to woo as she is stubborn chaste against all suit. Her bed is India. There she lies, a pearl. Between our Ilium and where she resides, let it be called the wild and wandering flood. Ourself, the merchant, and this sailing panda, our doubtful hope, our convoy, and our bark.
Prince Troilus, why are you not afield?
Because not there. This woman's answer sorts, for womanish it is to be from thence. What news, Aeneas, from the field today?
That Paris is returned home and hurt.
By whom, Aeneas?
Troilus, by Menelaus.
Let Paris bleed. 'Tis but a scar to scorn. Paris is gored with Menelaus's horn.
Good sport is out of town today.
Better at home, if would I might were may. But to the sport abroad, are you bound thither?
And all swift haste.
Come, go we then together.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 2, Troy, a street. Enter Cressida and her man Alexander.
Who of those went by?
Queen Hecuba and Helen.
And whither go they? Up to the eastern tower to see the battle. Hector, whose patience is as a virtue fixed, today was moved. He cheered Andromache and struck his armourer. Before the sun rose, he was harnessed light, and to the field goes he, where every flower did as a prophet weep what it foresaw in Hector's wrath.
What was the cause of his anger?
The noise goes this. There is among the Greeks a lord of Trojan blood, nephew to Hector. They call him Ajax.
Good, and what of him?
They say he is a very man, per se, and stands alone.
So do all men, unless they are drunk, sick, or have no legs.
This man, lady, hath robbed many beasts of their particular additions. He is as valiant as the lion, churlish as the bear, slow as the elephant, a man into whom nature hath crowded so humours that his valour is crushed into folly. His folly sourced with discretion. There is no man hath a virtue that he hath not a glimpse of, nor any man an attaint, but he carries some stain of it.
But how should this man that makes me smile make Hector angry?
They say he yesterday coped Hector in the battle and struck him down. The disdain and shame whereof hath ever since kept Hector fasting and waking.
Who comes here?
Madam, your uncle Pandarus.
What were you talking of when I came? Was Hector armed and gone ere you came to Ilium? Helen was not up, was she?
Hector was gone, but Helen was not up.
E'en so. Hector was stirring early.
That we were talking of, and of his anger.
What, was he angry?
So he says here.
True, he was so. I know the cause, too. He'll lay about him today. I can tell them that. And there's Troilus. We'll not come far behind him. Let them take heed of Troilus. I can tell them that, too.
What, is he angry too?
Who, Troilus? Troilus is the better man of the two.
Oh, Jupiter, there's no comparison.
What, not between Troilus and Hector? Do you know a man if you see him?
If I ever saw him before and knew him.
Well, I say Troilus is Troilus.
Then you say as I say, for I'm sure he's not Hector.
No, nor Hector is not Troilus in some degrees.
Excuse me.
He is elder.
Pardon me, pardon me.
The others not come to it. You shall tell me another tale when the others come to it. Hector shall not have his wit this year.
He shall not need it if he have his own.
Nor his qualities.
No matter.
Nor his beauty.
'Twould not become him his own's better.
You have no judgment, niece. I swear to you, I think Helen loves him better than Paris.
Oh, then she's a merry Greek indeed.
Nay, I am sure she does. She came to him the other day into the compassed window, and you know, he has not passed 3 or 4 hairs on his chin.
Indeed, a tapster's arithmetic may soon bring his particulars there into a total.
Well, he is very young, and yet will he, within 3 pound, lift as much as his brother Hector?
Is he so young a man and so old a lifter?
Why, go to then, but to prove to you that Helen loves Troilus.
Troilus will stand to the proof if you'll prove it so.
I cannot choose but laugh to think how she tickled his chin. Indeed, she has a marvelous white hand, I must needs confess.
Without the rack?
And she takes upon her to spy a white hair on his chin.
Alas, poor chin, many a wart is richer.
But there was such laughing. Queen Hecuba laughed that her eyes ran o'er.
With millstones.
And Cassandra laughed.
But there was more temperate fire under the pot of her eyes. Did her eyes run o'er too?
And Hector laughed.
At what was all this laughing?
Marry, at the white hair that Helen spied on Troilus's chin.
And been a green hair, I should have laughed too.
They laughed not so much at the hair as at his pretty answer.
What was his answer?
Quoth she, here's but 52 hairs on your chin, and one of them is white.
This is her question.
That's true. That's true, make no question of that. 250 hairs, quoth he, and 1 white. That white hair is my father, and all the rest are his sons. Jupiter, quoth she, which of these hairs is Paris, my husband? The forked one, quoth he, plucked out, and give it him. But there was such laughing, and Helen so blushed, and Paris so chafed, and all the rest so laughed that it passed.
Let it now, for it has been a great while going by.
Well, cousin, I told you a thing yesterday. Think of it.
Oh, I do.
So I'll be sworn 'tis true. It will weep you into work to a man born in April.
And I'll spring up in his tears and a nettle against May.
Hark, they're coming from the field. Oh, shall we stand up here and see them as they pass toward Ilion? Good niece, do, sweet niece Cressida.
At your pleasure.
All right, here's an excellent place. Here we may see most bravely. I'll tell you them by all their names as they pass by, but mark Troilus above the rest.
Speak not so loud.
Oh, it's not that a brave man. He's one of the flowers of Troy. I can tell you. But mark Troilus. You shall see anon.
Who's that?
That's Tichenor. He has a shrewd wit, I can tell you. And he's man. Good enough. He's one of the soundest judgments in Troy, whosoever, and a proper man of person. When comes Troilus? I'll show you Troilus anon. If he see me, you shall see him nod at me.
Will he give you the nod?
You shall see.
If you do, the rich shall have more.
Oh, that's HECTOR. That. Look you that. There's a fellow. Oh, go thy way. HECTOR, that's a brave man, niece. Oh, brave HECTOR. Look how he looks. Oh, there's a countenance. It's not a brave man.
Oh, brave man.
It's not. It does a man's heart good. Look you what hacks are on his helmet. Look you yonder. Do you see? Look you there. There's no jesting. There's a laying on. Take off who will, as they say. There be hacks.
Those the swords?
Swords, anything. He cares not. And the devil come to him, it's all one. By God's lid, it does one's heart good. Let's see. Yonder comes Paris. Yonder comes Paris. Oh, look you, yonderness. It's not a gallant man too, it's not. Oh, why, this is brave now. Who said he came hurt home today? He's not hurt. Why, this will do Helen's heart good now, huh? Oh, I would that I could see Troilus now. You shall see Troilus anon.
Who's that?
Oh, that's Helenus. I marvel where Troilus is. Yeah, that's Helenus. I think he went not forth today. That's Helenus.
Can Helenus fight, uncle?
Helenus? No! Yes, he'll fight indifferent well. Yeah. I marvel where Troilus is. Hark, do you not hear the people cry Troilus? Helenus is a priest.
What sneaking fellow comes yonder?
Oh, 'tis Troilus. There's a man he saw. Brave Troilus, prince of chivalry.
Peace, for shame, peace.
Mark him, note him. Oh, brave Troilus, look well upon him, niece. Look you how his sword is bloodied, and his helm more hacked than Hector's, and how he looks, and how he goes. Oh, admirable youth. He never saw 23. Go thy way, Troilus, go thy way. Oh, had I had a sister were a grace, or a daughter, a goddess, he should take his choice. Oh, admirable man. Paris? Paris is dirt to him, and I warrant Helen to change would give an eye to boot.
Wait, here comes more.
Chaff and bran, porridge after meat. Ne'er look, the eagles are gone, crows and daws. Pfft. I had rather be such a man as Troilus than Agamemnon and all Greece.
There is amongst the Greeks Achilles, a better man than Troilus.
Achilles? Pfft. A drayman. A porter, a very camel.
Oh, well.
Do you know what a man is? Is not birth, beauty, good shape, discourse, manhood, learning, gentleness, virtue, youth, liberality, and such like the spice and salt that season a man?
Aye, a minced man, and then to be baked with no date in the pie, for then the man's date is out.
You are such a woman. A man knows not at what ward you lie.
Upon my back to defend my belly, upon my wit to defend my wiles, upon my secrecy to defend mine honesty, my mask to defend my beauty, and you to defend all these. And at all these wards I lie at 1,000 watches.
Sir, my lord would instantly speak with you.
Where?
At your own house, there he unarms.
Good boy, tell Troilus I come. I doubt he be hurt. Well, fare ye well, good niece.
Adieu, uncle.
I will be with you, niece, by and by.
To bring, uncle.
Aye, a token from Troilus.
By the same token, you are aboard. Words, vows, gifts, tears, and love's full sacrifice he offers in another's enterprise. But more in Troilus 1,000-fold I see than in the glass of Pandar's praise may be. Yet I hold off. Women are angels wooing, things won are done. Joy's soul lies in the doing. That she beloved knows naught that knows not this. Men prize the thing ungained more than it is. That she was never yet that ever knew love got so sweet as when desire did sue. Therefore, this maxim out of love I teach. Achievement is command, ungained beseech. Then though my heart's firm love doth bear, nothing of that shall from mine eyes appear.
Exit. Act 1, Scene 3, the Grecian camp before Agamemnon's tent. Enter Agamemnon, Nestor, Ulysses, Diomedes, Menelaus with others.
Look,
Where is every
I could just have a word. Will you please allow me to
Princess!
action?
What grief hath set the jaundice on your cheeks? The ample proposition that hope makes in all designs begun on earth below fails in the promised largeness. Checks and disasters grow in the veins of actions highest reared. Nor, princes, is it matter new to us that we come short of our suppose so far that after 7 years' siege yet Troy walls stand. Why then, you princes, do you with cheeks abashed behold our works and call them shames, which are indeed naught else but the protractive trials of great Jove to find persistive constancy in men, the fineness of which metal is not found in fortune's love? For then the bold and coward, the wise and fool, the artist and unread, the hard and soft seem all affined and kin. But in the wind and tempest of her frown, distinction, with a broad and powerful fan, puffing at all, winnows the light away, and what hath mass or matter by itself lies rich in virtue and unmingled.
With due observance of thy godlike seat, great Agamemnon, Nestor shall apply thy latest words. In the reproof of chance lies the true proof of men. The sea being smooth, how many shallow bauble boats dare sail upon her patient breast, making their way with those of nobler bulk? But let the ruffian Boreas once enrage the gentle Thetis, and anon, behold, The strong-ribbed bark through liquid mountains cut, bounding between the two moist elements like Perseus' horse. Where's then the saucy boat, whose weak untimpered sides but even now co-rival greatness? Either to harbour fled, or made a toast for Neptune. Even so doth valor's show and valor's worth divide in storms of fortune. But when the splitting wind makes flexible the knees of knotted oaks, and flies fled under shade, why then the thing of courage, as roused with rage doth sympathize, and with an accent tuned in self-same key retorts to chiding fortune.
Agamemnon, thou great commander, nerves and bone of Greece, heart of our numbers, soul and only sprite, in whom the tempers and the minds of all should be shut up, hear what Ulysses speaks. Besides the applause and approbation to which, most mighty for thy place and sway, and thou most reverend for thy stretched out life, I give to both your speeches, which were such as Agamemnon and the hand of Greece should hold up high in brass, and such again as venerable Nestor, hatched in silver, should with a bond of air, strong as the axle tree, so which heaven rides, knit all Greekish ears to the experienced tongue, yet let it please both thou, great and wise, to hear Ulysses speak.
Speak, Prince of Ithaca, and be it of less expect that matter needless of importless burden divide thy lips, than we are confident when rank Thersites opes his mastic jaws, we shall hear wit, music, and oracle.
Troy, yet upon his bases, had been down, and great Hector's sword had lacked a master, but for these instances. The speciality of rule hath been neglected, and look how many Grecian tents do stand hollow upon this plain, so many hollow factions. When that the general is not like the hive to whom the foragers shall all repair, what honey is expected? Degree being visored, the unworthier shows as fairly in the mask. The heavens themselves, the planets, and this center observe degree, priority and place, office and custom in all line of order, and therefore is the glorious planet Sol in noble eminence enthroned and sphered amidst the other. But when the planets in evil mixture to disorder wander, what plagues and what portent, what mutiny, what raging of the sea, shaking of the earth, oh, when degree is shaked, which is the ladder of all high designs, the enterprise is sick. How could communities, degrees in schools and brotherhoods in cities, peaceful commerce from dividable shores, and their primogenity and due of birth, prerogative of age, crowns, scepters, laurels, but by degree stand in authentic place? Take but degree away, untune that string, and hark what discourse follows. Each thing meets in mere repugnancy. The bounded waters should lift their bosoms higher than the shores, and make a sup of all this solid globe. Strength should be lord of imbecility, and the rude son should strike his father dead. Force should be right, or rather right and wrong. Between those endless jar and justice resides should lose their names, and so should justice too. This chaos, when degree is suffocate, follows the choking, and this neglection of degree it is, that by a pace goes backward into the purpose it hath to climb. The general's disdain, by him one step below, he by the next, that next by him beneath, so every step exampled by the first pace that is sick of his superior grows to an envious fever, a pale, bloodless emulation, and 'tis this fever that keeps Troy on foot, not her own sinews. To end a tale of length, Troy in our weakness stands, not in her strength.
Most wisely hath Ulysses here discovered the fever whereof all our power is sick.
The nature of the sickness found, Ulysses. What is the remedy?
The great Achilles, whom opinion crowns, the sinew and forehand of our host, having his ear full of his airy fame, grows dainty of his worth, and in his tent lies mocking our designs. With him Patroclus, upon a lazy bed the livelong day, breaks scurril jests, and with ridiculous and awkward action, which slandered, he imitation calls, he pageants us. Sometimes, great Agamemnon, thy topless deputation he puts on, and like a strutting player he acts thy greatness, and when he speaks 'tis like a chime amending with terms unsquared, which from the tongue of roaring Typhon dropped would seem hyperboles. At this fusty stuff the large Achilles on his press bed lolling from his deep chest laughs out loud and cries, excellent, 'tis Agamemnon right.
And in the imitation of these twain, who, as Ulysses says, opinion crowns with an imperial voice, many are in fact. Ajax is grown self-willed, and bears his head in such a rein, in full as proud a place as broad Achilles, keeps his tent like him, makes factious feasts, rails on our state of war bold as an oracle, and sets Thersites, a slave whose gall coins slanders like a mint, to match us in comparison with dirt, to weaken or discredit our exposure, how rank soever rounded in with danger.
They tax our policy and call it cowardice, count wisdom as no member of the war. They call this bedwork, mappery, closet war, so that the ram that batters down the wall, for the great swinge and rudeness of his poise, they place before his hand that made the engine, or those that with the fineness of their souls by reason guide its execution.
Let this be granted, and Achilles' horse makes many Thetis sons.
What trumpet? Look, Menelaus.
From Troy.
What would you for our tent? Thy lips move, but I hear thee not.
Is this the great Agamemnon's tent, I pray you?
Even this?
May one that is a herald and a prince do a fair message to his kingly ears?
With surety stronger than Achilles' arm, for all the Greekish heads, which with one voice call Agamemnon, head and general.
Fair leave and large security. How may a stranger to those most imperial looks know them from eyes of other mortals?
How?
Aye, which is that god of office guiding men, which is the high and mighty Agamemnon?
This Trojan scorns us, or the men of Troy are ceremonious courtiers.
Courtiers as free, as debonair, unarmed, as bending angels. That's their fame in peace. But when they would seem soldiers, oh, they have galls, good arms, strong joints, and great Job's accord, nothing so full of heart. But
peace.
Aeneas, peace, Trojan, lay thy finger on thy lips. The worthiness of praise disdains his worth, if that the praised himself brings the praise forth. But what the repining enemy commends, that breath fame blows, that praise soul pure transcends.
Sir, you of Troy, call you yourself Aeneas?
Aye, Greek, that is my name.
What's your affairs, I pray you?
Sir, pardon, 'tis for Agamemnon's ears.
He hears naught privately that comes from Troy.
Nor I from Troy come not to whisper with him. I bring a trumpet to awake his ear and to set his sense on the attentive bent and then to speak.
Speak frankly as the wind. It is not Agamemnon's sleeping hour. that thou shalt know, Trojan, he is awake. He tells thee so himself.
Trumpets blow loud, send thy brass voice through all these lazy tents, and every Greek of metal, let him know what Troy means fairly shall be spoke aloud. We have great Agamemnon here in Troy, a prince called Hector. Priam is his father, who in this dull and long-continued truce is rusty grown. He bade me to take a trumpet and to this purpose speak. Kings, princes, lords, if there be one among the fairest of Greece that holds his honor higher than his ease, that knows his valor and knows not fear, that loves his mistress more than in confession, with truant vows to her own lips he loves, and dares avow her beauty and her worth in other arms than hers, to him this challenge. Hector, in view of Trojans and of Greeks, shall make it good, or do his best to do it. He hath a lady wiser, fairer, truer than ever Greek did couple in his arms, and will tomorrow with his trumpet call midway between your tents and the walls of Troy to rouse a Grecian that is true in love. Then he come, Hector shall honor him. If none, he'll say that in Troy when he retires, the Grecian dames are sunburnt and not worth a splinter of land, something even so much.
This shall be told our lovers, Lord Aeneas, and may that soldier a mere recreant prove that means not, hath not, or is not in love. If then one is, or hath, or means to be, that one meets Hector. If none else, I'll be he.
Or tell him of Nestor, one that was a man when Hector's grandsire sucked. Well, he is old now, but if there be not in our Grecian mould a noble man that hath no spark of fire to answer for his love, tell him from me, I'll hide my silver beard in a gold beaver, and in my armour put my withered brawns, and meeting him will tell him that my lady was fairer than his grandam, and as chaste as may be in the world. His youth in flood, I'll prove this troth with my 3 drops of blood.
Now heavens forfend such scarcity of youth.
Amen.
Fair Lord Aeneas, let me touch your hand. Yourself shall feast with us before you go, and find the welcome of a noble foe.
Nestor.
What says Ulysses?
This challenge that the gallant Hector sends, however it is spread in general name, relates in purpose only to Achilles.
True, that Achilles, were his brain as barren as banks of Libya, though Apollo knows 'tis dry enough, will with great speed of judgment, aye, with celerity, find Hector's purpose pointing on him.
And wake him to answer, think you?
Why, it is most meet. Who may you else oppose that can from Hector bring those honours off, if not Achilles? Though it be a sportful combat, yet in the trial much opinion dwells. For here the Trojans taste our dearest repute with their finest palate. And trust to me, Ulysses, our imputation shall be oddly poised in this vile action. For the success, although particular, shall give a scantling of good or bad unto the general.
Give pardon to my speech. Therefore 'tis meet Achilles meet not Hector. Do not consent that ever Hector and Achilles meet, for both our honour and our shame in this are dogged with 2 strange followers.
Well, I see them not with my old eyes. What are they?
What glory our Achilles shares from Hector, were not he proud, we all should share with him. But he already is too insolent, and it were better parch in Afric's sun than in the pride and salt scorn of his eyes. Should he scape Hector fair? If he were foiled, why then we do our main opinion crush and taint of our best man. No, make a lottery, and by device let blockish Ajax draw, the sort to fight with Hector. Among ourselves give him allowance for the better man, for that will physic the great Myrmidon, who broils in loud applause, and make him fall his crest, that prouder than blue iris bends. If the dull, brainless Ajax comes safe off, we'll dress him up in voices. If he fell, yet we go under our opinion still that we have the better man. But hit or miss, our project's life this shape of sense assumes. Ajax employed plucks down Achilles' plumes.
Now, Ulysses, I begin to relish thy advice. I will give a taste thereof forthwith to Agamemnon. Go we to him straight. 2 curs shall tame each other. Pride alone must tar the mastiffs on, as 'twere a bone.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 1, a part of the Grecian camp. Enter Ajax and Thersites.
Thersites!
Agamemnon, how if he had boils full over?
Thersites!
And those boils did run, say, did not the general run then? Were not that a botchy core?
Dog!
Then would some matter come from him? I see none now.
Thou bitch wolf's son, canst thou not hear? Feel then.
The plague of Greece upon thee, thou mongrel, beef-witted lord.
The proclamation!
Thou art proclaimed fool, I think. Thou grumblest and railest every hour on Achilles, and thou art as full of envy at his greatness as Cerberus is at Proserpina's beauty. Aye, that thou barkst at him. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Mistress Thersites!
Thou should strike him.
Obloaf!
He would pun thee into shivers with his fist, as a sailor breaks a biscuit.
Oh, you whoreson cur!
Do! Or a witch, thou sodden witted lord! Friends, that I have in my elbow. You scurvy valiant ass, thou art here but to smash Trojans. Thou art bought and sold as any of those with any wit, like a barbarian slave. If you beat me, I will begin at thy heel and tell thee what thou art by inches, thou thing of no bowels, thou!
You dog!
You dog!
You cur!
You nasty idiot! So rudeness do, camel!
Why, how now, Ajax? Wherefore do ye thus? How now, Thersites? What's the weather, man?
You see him? There? Do you?
Aye, what's the matter?
No, but look you well!
So I do. What's the matter?
Ye but regard him well.
Well, why, so I do.
Oh, but yet you look not well upon him, for whomsoever you take him to be, he is AJAX.
I know that, fool.
Aye, but the fool knows not himself.
Therefore I beat thee.
What modicums of wit he utters. His evasions have ears thus long. I have bobbed his brain more than he's beat my bones. This lord, Achilles, AJAX, who wears his wit in his belly and his guts in his head. I'll tell you what I say of him.
What's the quarrel?
I bade the vile owl go learn me the tenor of the proclamation, and he rails upon me.
I serve thee not.
Well, go to.
A great deal of your wit lies in your sinews, or else there be liars. Hector shall have a great catch if he knock either of your brains.
What, with me too, Thersites?
Oh, there's Ulysses and old Nestor, whose wit was mouldy ere your grandsires had nails on their toes, yoke you like draft oxen and make you plough up the wars.
What?
Yes, good Sith. 2 Achilles, 2 AJAX, 2!
I shall cut out your tongue.
It's no matter. I shall speak as much as you afterwards.
No more words. Thersites, peace.
I will hold my peace when Achilles' brack bids me, shall I?
There's for you, Patroclus.
I will see you hanged like cockpoles ere I come any more to your tents. I will keep where there is wit stirring and leave the factions of fools.
Good riddance.
Marry, this, sir, is proclaimed through all our host, that Hector, by the 5th hour of the sun, will with a trumpet twixt our tents in Troy, tomorrow morning call some knight to arms that hath a stomach, and such a one that dare maintain, I know not what, 'tis trash. Farewell.
Farewell. Who shall answer him?
I know not. 'Tis put to lottery, otherwise he knew his man.
Oh, meaning you. I will go learn more of it.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 2, Troy, a room in Priam's palace. Enter Priam, Hector, Troilus, Paris, and Helenus.
After so many hours, lives, speeches spent. Thus once again, says Nectar from the Greeks, deliver Helen and all damage else, as honor, loss of time, travail, expense, wounds, friends, and what else dear that is consumed in hot digestion of this cormorant war shall be struck off. Hector, what say you to it?
No man lesser fears the Greeks than I, as far as toucheth my particular. Yet, dread Priam, the wound of peace is surety. Surety secure, but modest doubt is called the beacon of the wise, the tent that searches to the bottom of the worst. Let Helen go. If we have so many tents of ours, to guard a thing not ours nor worth to us, had it our name, the value of 110. What merits in that reason which denies the yielding of her up?
Fie, my brother. Were you the worth and honour of a king so great as our dread fathers in a scale of common ounces? Fie, for godly shame!
No marvel thou, you by so sharp at reasons, you are so empty of them. Should not our father bear the great sway of this affair with reason, because your speech hath none that tell him so?
You are for dreams and slumbers, brother priest. You fur your gloves with reason. Here are your reasons. You know an enemy intends you harm. You know a sword employed is perilous, and reason flies the object of all harm. Who marvels then when Helenus beholds a Grecian and his sword, if he do set the very wings of reason to his heels and fly like chidden Mercury from Jove, or like a star disorbed? Nay, if we talk of reason, let's shut our gates and sleeps. Reason and respect make livers pale and lustihood.
Brother, she is not worth what she doth cost the keeping.
What's aught but as 'tis valued?
But value dwells not in particular will. It holds his estimate and dignity as well, wherein 'tis precious of itself, as in the prizer. 'Tis mad idolatry to make the service greater than the god.
We turn not back the silks upon the merchant when we have soiled them. It was thought meet Paris should do some vengeance on the Greeks. Your breath, with full consent, bellied his sails. The seas and winds, old wranglers, took a truce and did him service. He brought a Grecian queen, whose youth and freshness wrinkles Apollo's and makes pale the morning. Is she worth keeping? Why, she is a pearl, whose price hath launched above 1,000 ships and turned crowned kings to merchants. If you'll avouch, 'twas wisdom Paris went, as you, for you all cried, go, go. If you'll confess he brought home worthy prize, as you must needs, for you all clapped your hands and cried, inestimable. Why do you now the issue of your proper wisdom's rate, and do a deed that fortune never did, beggar the estimation which you prized richer than sea and land? Oh, theft most base, that we have stolen what we do fear to keep. But thieves unworthy of a thing so stolen that in their country did them disgrace, we fear to warrant in our native place.
Cry, Trojans, cry!
What noise? What strife is this?
'Tis our mad sister, I do know her voice.
Cry, Trojans!
It is Cassandra.
Cry, Trojans, cry! Lend me 10,000 eyes, and I will fill them with prophetic
Peace,
tears.
sister, peace.
Cry, Trojans, cry! Practice your eyes with tears. Troy must not be, nor good alien stand. Our firebrand brother Paris burns us all. Cry, Trojans, cry, a Helen and a woe. Cry, cry, Troy burns, or else let Helen go.
Now, youthful Troilus, do not these high strains of divination in our sister work some touches of remorse? Or is your blood so madly hot that no discourse of reason, nor fear of bad success in a bad cause can qualify the same?
Why, brother Hector, we may not think the justness of each act such, and no other event than doth form it, nor once deject the courage of our minds, because Cassandra is mad. Her brain-sick raptures cannot distaste the goodness of a quarrel which hath our several honours all engaged to make it gracious.
But I attest, gods, your full consent gave wings to my intention, and cut off all fears attending on so a dire project. What force of arms is found in one man's valour, to stand the push and enmity of those this quarrel would excite? Yet I protest, this quarrel, were I alone to pass the difficulties, and had as ample power as I have will, Paris should ne'er retract what he hath done, nor faith in the pursuit.
Paris, you speak like one besotted on your sweet delights. You have the honey still, but these the gall, so to be valiant is no praise at all.
Sir, I propose not merely to myself the pleasures such a beauty brings with it, but I would have the soil of her rape wiped off in honourable keeping her. What treason were it to this ransacked queen, disgrace to your great worths, and shame to me, now to deliver her possession up on terms of base compulsion? Then I say, well, may we fight for whom we know well, the world's large spaces cannot parallel.
Paris and Troilus, you have both said well, and on the cause and question now in hand have glossed, but superficially, not much unlike young men whom Aristotle thought unfit to hear moral philosophy. There is a law in each well-ordered nation to curb those raging appetites that are most disobedient and refractory. If Helen then be wife to Sparta's king, as it is known she is, These moral laws of nature and of nations speak aloud to have her back returned. Hector's opinion is this way in truth. Yet, nevertheless, my sprightly brethren, I prepend to you in resolution to keep Helen still. It is a cause that hath no mean dependence upon our joint and several dignities.
Why, there you touched the life of our design. Were it not glory that we more affected than the performance of our heaving spleens, I would not wish a drop of Trojan blood spent more in her defence. But, worthy Hector, she is a theme of honour and renown, a spur to valiant and magnanimous deeds, whose present courage may beat down our foes, and fame, in time, come to canonize us. For I presume brave Hector would not lose so rich advantage of a promised glory as smiles upon the forehead of this action for the wide world's revenue.
I am yours, you valiant offspring of great Priamus. I have a roisting challenge sent amongst the dull and factious nobles of the Greeks, will strike amazement to their drowsy spirits. I was advertised their great general slept, whilst emulation in the army crept. This, I presume, will wake him.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 3, the Grecian camp before Achilles' tent. Enter Thersites, Solus.
How now, Thersites? Shall the elephant AJAX carry it thus? Oh, he beats me and I rail at him. I'll learn to conjure and raise up devils, but I'll see some issue of my spiteful execrations. Then there's Achilles, a rare engineer. If Troy be not taken till these two undermine it, the walls will stand till they fall of themselves. Oh, thou great thunder darter of Olympus, forget that thou art Jove, the king of gods, and Mercury. If you take not that little less than little wit from them that they have, after this, vengeance on the whole camp. I've said my prayers, and devil envy say amen. Oh, my lord Achilles.
Who's there? Ah, Thersites. Good Thersites, come in and rail.
Common curse of mankind, folly and ignorance be thine in great revenue. Heaven bless thee from a tutor, and disciple come not near thee. Amen. Where's Achilles?
What, art thou devout? Wast thou in prayer?
Aye, the heavens hear me.
Amen.
Who's there?
Thersites, my lord.
Where? Where? Oh, where? Art thou come? Oh, my cheese, my digestion. Why hast thou not served thyself into my table so many meals? Come, what's Agamemnon?
Thy commander, Achilles. Then tell me, Patroclus, what's Achilles?
Thy lord, Thersites. Then tell me, I pray thee, what's thyself?
Thy knower, Patroclus. Then tell me, Patroclus, what art thou?
Thou mayst tell that knows.
Oh, tell.
I'll decline the whole question. Agamemnon commands Achilles. Achilles is my lord. I am Patroclus' knower, and Patroclus is a fool.
You rascal!
Peaceful, I have not done.
He's a privileged man. Proceed, Thersites.
Agamemnon is a fool, Achilles is a fool, Thersites is a fool, and as foresaid, Patroclus is a fool.
Derive this, come.
Agamemnon is a fool to command Achilles. Achilles is a fool to be commanded of Agamemnon. Thersites is a fool to serve such a fool. And this Patroclus is a fool positive.
Why am I a fool?
Make that demand of the Creator. It suffices me thou art. Oh, look you, who comes here?
Come, Patroclus. I'll speak with nobody. Come in with me, Thersites.
Here is such a patchery, such juggling and such knavery. All the argument is a whore and a cuckold. A good quarrel to draw emulous factions and bleed to death upon.
Where is Achilles?
Within his tent, but ill-disposed, my lord.
Let it be known to him that we are here. He sent our messengers, and we lay by our appertainments visiting of him. Let him be told so, lest perchance he think we dare not move the question of our place, or know not what we are.
I shall say so to him.
We saw him at the opening of his tent. He is not sick.
Yes, lion sick. Sick of a proud heart. You may call it melancholy if you will favour the man, but by my head, 'tis pride. But why? Why? Let him show us a cause. A word, my lord.
Moves Ajax thus to bay at him?
Achilles has unveiled his fool from him.
Who's the Thersites?
He.
Then will Ajax lack matter if he have lost his argument?
No, you see, his argument that has his argument, Achilles.
Ah, all the better. Their fraction is more our wish than their faction. It was a strong composure a fool could disunite.
The amenity, the wisdom, its not folly may easily untie. Here comes Patroclus.
No Achilles with him?
Achilles bids me say he is much sorry if anything more than your sport and pleasure did move your greatness, and this noble state to call upon him. He hopes it is no other but for your health and digestion's sake. And after dinner's breath,
Go and tell him, we come to speak with him, and you shall not sin if you do say we think him over-proud and under-honest, in self-assumption greater than in the note of judgment, and worthier than himself here tend the savage strangeness he puts on, disguise the holy strength of their command, and underwrite in an observing kind his humorous predominance, and add that if he overhold his price so much, we'll none of him. But let him, like an engine not portable, lie under this report. Bring action hither, this cannot go to war. A stirring dwarf we do allowance give before a sleeping giant. Tell him so.
I shall, and bring his answer presently.
In second voice, we'll not be satisfied. We come to speak with him. Ulysses, enter you.
What is he more than another?
Oh, no more than what he thinks he is.
Do not think he thinks himself a better man than I am.
No question.
Will you subscribe his thought and say he is?
No, noble Ajax. You are as strong, as valiant, as wise, no less noble, much more gentle, and altogether more tractable.
Why should a man be proud? How doth pride grow? I know not what pride is.
And yet he loves himself. Is it not strange?
Achilles will not to field tomorrow.
What's his excuse?
He doth rely on none.
Why will he not, upon our fair request, untent his person and share the air with us?
He is so plaguy proud that the death tokens of it cry no recovery.
Let Ajax go to him. Dear Lord, go you, and greet him in his tent. 'Tis said he holds you well, and will be led at your request a little from himself.
Oh, Agamemnon, let it be, not be so. We'll consecrate the steps that Ajax make when they go from Achilles. Shall the proud lord that based his arrogance with his own seam and never suffers matter of the world enter his thoughts, save such as doth revolve and ruminate himself, shall he be worshipped of that we hold an idol more than he? No! This thrice worthy and right valiant lord shall not so stare his palm nobly acquired by going to Achilles. This lord go to him? Jupiter forbid! And say in thunder, Achilles go to him.
Oh, this is well. He rubs the vein of him.
And how his silence drinks up his applause.
If I go to him with my armed fist, I'll pass him over the face.
No, no, you shall not go.
Well, and he be proud with me? I'll fix his pride. Let me go to him.
Not for the worth that hangs upon our quarrel.
A paltry, insolent fellow.
How he describes himself.
Can he not be sociable?
The raven chides the practice.
I'll let his humours blood.
He will be the physician that should be the patient.
Need him. I'll make him supple. He's not yet through warm.
Force him with praises. Pour in, pour in. His ambition is dry.
My lord, you feed too much on this dislike.
Our noble general, do not do so.
You must prepare to fight without Achilles.
Why, 'tis this naming of him does him harm. Here is a man, but 'tis before his face. I will be silent.
Wherefore should you so? He is not emulous as Achilles is.
No, the whole world he is a valiant.
A horse and dog that shall palter with us thus. Would he were a Trojan.
What a vice flourish in Ajax now.
If he were proud.
Or covetous of praise.
Aye, so sally born.
Or strange or self-affected.
Thank heavens, Lord, thou art of sweet composure. Let Mars divide eternity in twain, and give him half. And for thy vigour, I will not praise thy wisdom, which, like a burn, a pale, a shore, confines thy spacious and dilated parts. Here's Nestor, instructed by the antiquary times. He must, he is, he cannot but be wise. But, pardon, Father Nestor, were your days as green as Ajax, and your brain so tempered that you should not have the eminence of him, but be as Ajax?
Shall I call you father?
Aye, my good son.
Be ruled by him, Lord Ajax.
There is no tarrying here. The heart Achilles keeps thicket. Please it our great generals to call together all his state of war. Fresh kings are come to Troy. Tomorrow we must with all our main of power stand fast. And here's a lord, comes night from east to west, and cull the flower. Ajax shall cope the best.
Yea, go we to council. Let Achilles sleep. Light boats sail swift, though greater hulks draw deep.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 1, Troy, Priam's palace. Enter Pandarus with Paris's servant.
Friend, you, pray you a word. Do you not follow the young Lord Paris?
Aye, sir, when he goes before me.
Oh, you depend upon a notable gentleman. I must needs praise him. You know me, do you not?
Praise, sir, superficially.
Friend, know me better. I am the Lord Pandarus.
I hope I shall know your honor better.
Oh, I broke his iron, yes.
Oh, you are full of grace.
Grace, not so, friend. Honor and lordship are my titles. What music is this?
I do partly know, sir. It is music in parts.
Are you the musicians?
Wholly, sir.
Who pay they to?
To the hearers, sir.
At whose pleasure, friend?
At mine, sir, and there's that love music.
Command, I mean, friend.
Who shall I command, sir?
Friend, we understand not one another. I am too courtly, and thou too cunning. At whose request do these men play?
Oh, that's true indeed, sir. Marry, sir, at the request of Paris, my lord, who is in there, in person, with him, the mortal Venus, the heart-blood of beauty, love's invisible soul.
Who, my cousin Cressida?
No, sir, Helen. Could you not find out that by her attributes?
It should seem, fellow, thou hast not seen the Lady Cressida. I come to speak with Paris from the Prince Troilus. I will make a complimental assault upon him, for my business seethes.
Oh, sodden business. There's a shrewd phrase indeed.
Fair be to you. Ah, my lord! And to all this, fair company, fair desires, in all fair measure, fairly guide them, especially to you, fair queen. Ah, fair queen, fair thoughts, be your fair pillow.
My lord, you are full of fair words.
You speak your fair pleasure, sweet queen. Fair prince, here is good broken music.
You have broke it, cousin, and by my life you shall make it whole again. You shall piece it out with the piece of your performance. Nell, he is full of harmony.
Truly, lady, no.
Sir.
Rude, in sooth, in good sooth, very rude.
Well said, my lord. Well, you say so in fits.
I have business to my lord, dear queen. My lord, would you vouchsafe me a word?
Nay, this shall not hence judge us out. I hear you sing, certainly.
Well, sweet queen, you are pleasant with me, but marry thus, my lord, my dear lord and most esteemed friend, your brother Troilus.
My lord Pandarus, sweet honey lord.
Go to, sweet queen, go to, commends himself most affectionately to you.
You shall not bob us out of our melody. If you do, our melancholy upon your head.
Oh, sweet queen, that's a sweet queen, if faith.
To make a sweet lady sad is a seraphim.
Nay, that shall not serve your turn, that shall it not, in truth, la. Nay, I care not for such words. No, no. And my lord, he desires you that if the king call for him at supper, you will make his excuse.
My lord Pandarus.
What says my sweet queen, my very, very sweet queen?
What exploits in hand? Where sups he tonight?
Nay, but my lord.
What says my sweet queen? My cousin will fall out with you. You must not know where he sups.
I lay my life with my disposer Cressida.
No, no, no such matter. You are wide. Come, your disposer is sick.
Well, I'll make excuse.
Aye, good my lord. Why should you say Cressida? No, your poor disposer's sick.
I spy.
You spy? What do you spy? Come, give me an instrument. Yeah, now, sweet queen.
Why, this is kindly done.
My niece is horribly in love with a thing you have, sweet queen.
You shall have it, my lord, if it not be my lord Paris.
He? No, she'll none of him. Those two are twain.
Well, falling in after falling out may make them three.
Come, I'll hear no more of this. I'll sing you a song now.
Aye, prithee now. By my troth, sweet lord, thou hast a fine forehead.
Oh, aye, you may.
Let thy song be love. This love will undo us all. Oh, Cupid.
Love, aye, that it shall, i' faith.
Aye, good now. Love, nothing but love.
In good troth, it begins so. Love, nothing but love. Still more. For Olaf's bow shoots buck and doe. The shaft confounds, not that it wounds, but tickles still the sore. These lovers cry, oh, they die, yet that which seems the wound to kill doth turn, into ha. So dying love lives still, a while, but ha, groans out for ha. Hey, ho.
Love to the very tip of the nose.
He eats nothing but doves, love, and that breeds hot blood, and hot blood begets hot thoughts, and hot thoughts beget hot deeds, and hot deeds is love.
Is this the generation of love? Hot blood, hot thoughts, and hot deeds? Why, they are vipers. Is love the generation of vipers? Sweet lord, who's afield today?
Hector, Deiphobus, Helenus, Antenor, all the gallantry of Troy. I would have fain armed today, but my Nell would not have it so. How chance my brother Troilus went not?
He hangs at the lip of something. You know all, my lord Pandarus.
Oh, not I, honey, sweet queen. I long to hear how they sped today. You'll remember your brother's excuse.
To a hair.
Farewell, sweet queen.
Oh, commend me to your niece.
I will, sweet queen. Love, love, nothing but love.
They come from the field. Let us to Priam's hall to greet the warriors. Sweet Helen, I must woo you to help unarm our Hector. His stubborn buckles, with these your white enchanting fingers touched, shall more obey than the edge of steel, or force of Greekish sinews. You shall do more than all the island kings. Disarm great Hector.
Will make us proud to be his servant, Paris. Yea, but he shall receive us in duty, gives us more palm and beauty than we have. Yea, overshines ourself.
Sweet, above the thought I love thee.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 2, Troy, Pandarus Orchard. Enter Pandarus, Troilus boy, meeting.
How now, where's thy master? At my cousin Cressida's?
No, sir. He stays for you to conduct him thither.
Ah, here he comes. How now? How now?
Sarah, walk off.
Have you seen my cousin?
No, Pandarus. I stalk about her door like to a strange soul upon the Stygian banks, staying for waftage. Oh, be thou my Charon, and give me swift transportance to these fields where I may wallow in the lily beds proposed for the deserver.
Walk here in the orchard. I'll bring her straight.
I am giddy. Expectation whirls me round. The imaginary relish is so sweet that it enchants my sense. What will it be when that the watery palate tastes love's price for pure red nectar? Death, I fear me. Swooning destruction, or some joy too fine, too subtle, potent, tune too sharp for the capacity of my ruder powers. I fear it much. And I do fear besides that I shall lose distinction in my joys, as doth a battle when they charge on heaps the enemy flying.
She's making her ready. She'll come straight. You must be witty now. She does so blush and fetches her wind so short, as if she were afraid with the spirit. I'll fetch her. It is the prettiest villain. She fetches her breath as short as a Newtaean sparrow.
Oh, even such a passion doth embrace my bosom. My heart beats thicker than a feverous pulse, and all my powers do their bestowing lose, like vassalage, unawares encountering the eye of majesty.
Come, what need you blush? Shame's a baby. Here she is now. Swear the oaths now to her that you have sworn to me. Come, draw this curtain and let's see your picture. Alas, the day. How loath you are to offend daylight, and 'twere dark you'd close sooner. So, rub on and kiss the mistress. How now, a kiss and fee-fawn? Build there, the carpenter, the air is sweet.
You have bereft me of all words, lady.
Oh, words pay no debts. Give her deeds. But she'll bereave you of the deeds too if she call your activity in question. What? Billing again? Here's in witness whereof of the parties interchangeably. Come in. I'll go get a fire.
My lord.
Oh, Cressida, how often I have wished me thus.
Wish, my lord, the gods grant. Oh, my lord.
What should they grant? What makes this pretty abruption? What too curious dreg espies my sweet lady in the fountain of our love?
More dreg than water, if fears have eyes.
Fears make devils of cherubiums, they never see truly.
Blind fear that seeing reason leads, finds safer footing than blind reason stumbling without fear. To fear the worst oft cures the worse.
Oh, let my lady apprehend no fear. In all Cupid's pageant there is presented no monsters.
Nor nothing monstrous neither.
Nothing but our undertakings. When we vow to weep seas, live in fire, eat rocks, tame tigers, thinking it harder for our mistress to devise imposition enough than for us to undergo any difficulty imposed. This is the monstrosity in love, lady, that the desire is boundless and the act a slave to limit.
They that have the voice of lions and the act of hares, are they not monsters?
Are there such? Such are not we. Praise us as we are tasted. Allow us as we
You
prove.
walk in, my lord.
What? Blushing still? Have you not done talking yet?
Well, for what folly I commit, I dedicate to you.
Oh, I thank you for that. If my lord get a boy of you, you'll give him me. Be true to my lord. If he flinch, chide me for it.
You know now your hostages, your uncle's word, and my firm faith.
Nay, I'll give you my word for her too. Our kindred, though they be long ere they be wooed, they are constant being one. They are burrs, I can tell you, they'll stick where they are thrown.
Boldness comes to me now and brings me heart. Prince Troilus, I have loved you night and day for many weary months.
Why was my Cressid then so hard to win?
Hard to seem one, but I was won, my lord, with the very first glance that ever, pardon me, if I confess too much, you will play the tyrant. I love you now, but till now, not so much, but I might master it. In faith, I lie. My thoughts were like unbridled children grown too headstrong for their mother. See, we fools, why have I blabbed? Who shall be true to us when we are so unsecret to ourselves? But though I loved you well, I wooed you not. And yet, good faith, I wish myself a man. Or that we women had men's privilege of speaking first. Sweet, bid me hold my tongue, for in this rapture I shall surely speak the thing I shall repent. See, your silence, cunning in dumbness, from my weakness draws my very soul of counsel, stop my mouth.
And shall, albeit sweet music issues thence.
Pretty, faith.
My lord, I do beseech you pardon me. 'Twas not my purpose thus to beg a kiss. I am ashamed. Oh heavens, what have I done? For this time I will take my leave, my lord.
Your leave, sweet Cressid?
Leave, and if you will take leave tomorrow morning.
Content you.
What offends you, lady?
Mine own company.
You cannot shun yourself.
Let me go and try. I have a kind of self resides with you, but an unkind self that itself will leave to be another's fool. I would be gone. Where is my wit? I know not what I speak.
Well know they what they speak that speak so wisely.
Perchance, my lord, I show more craft than love, and fell so roundly to a large confession to angle for your thoughts. But you are wise, or else you love not. For to be wise and love exceeds man's might. That dwells with the gods above.
Oh, that I thought it could be in a woman. As if it can, I will presume in you. To feed for aye her lamp and flames of love, to keep her constancy in plight and youth, outliving beauty's outward, with a mind that doth renew swifter than blood decays. Or that persuasion could but thus convince me that my integrity and truth to you might be affronted with the match and weight of such a winnowed purity and love. How were I then uplifted, but alas, I am as true as truth's simplicity, and simpler than the infancy of truth.
In that a war with you.
Oh, virtuous fight, when right with right wars, who shall be most right? True swains in love shall, in the world to come, approve their truth by Troilus. When their rhymes full of protest, oaths, and big compare want similes, truth tired with iteration, as some today, as turtle to her mate, as iron to adamant, as earth to a center, yet after all comparisons of truth, as truth's authentic author to be cited, as true as Troilus, shall crown up the verse and sanctify the number.
Prophet may you be, if I be false or swerve a hair from truth. when time is old and hath forgot itself, when water drops have worn the stones of Troy, and blind oblivion swallowed cities up, and mighty states characterless are grated to dusty nothing, yet let memory from false to false, among false maids in love upbraid my falsehood, when they have said as false as air, as water, wind, or sandy earth, as fox to lamb, or wolf to heifer's calf, part to the hind, or step dam to her son. Yea, let them say, to stick the heart of falsehood, as false as Cressida.
Go to, a bargain made. Seal it, I'll be the witness. Here, hold my hand. Here, my cousins. If ever you prove false to one another, since I have taken such pain to bring you together, let all pitiful goers between be called to the world's end after my name. Call them all Pandars. Let all constant men be Troiluses, all false women Cressids, and all brokers between Pandars. Say amen.
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 Amen. Whereupon I will show you a chamber with a bed. Which bed, because it shall not speak of your pretty encounters, press it to death. Away. And Cupid grant all tongue-tied maidens here, bed, chamber, pander to provide this gear.
Exit. Act 3, Scene 3, the Grecian camp before Achilles' tent. Enter Ulysses, Diomedes, Nestor, Agamemnon, Ajax, Menelaus, and Calchas.
Now, princes, for the service I have done, the advantage of the time prompts me aloud to call for recompense. Appear it in your mind that through the sight I bear in things to come, I have abandoned Troy, left my possession, incurred a traitor's name, exposed myself to doubtful fortune, sequestering from me all that time acquaintance, custom, and condition made tame and most familiar to my nature. And here to do you service and become as new into the world, strange, unacquainted. I do beseech you, in way of taste, to give me now a little benefit out of those many registered in promise, which you say live to come in my behalf.
What wouldst thou of us, Trojan? Make demand.
You have a Trojan prisoner called Tichenor, yesterday took. Troy holds him very dear. Often have you, thanks therefore, desired my Cressid in right great exchange, whom Troy hath still denied. But this Tichenor, I know, is such a rest in their affairs, their negotiations all must slack wanting his manage, and they will almost give us a prince of blood, a son of Priam, in change of him. Let him be sent, great princes, and he shall buy my daughter, and her presence shall quite strike off all the service I have done in most accepted pain.
Let Diomedes bear him and bring us Cressid hither. Calchas shall have what he requests of us. Good Diomede, furnish you fairly for this interchange. Withal, bring word, if Hector will tomorrow be answered in his challenge, Ajax is ready.
This shall I undertake, and 'tis a burden which I am proud to bear.
Achilles stands at the entrance of his tent. Please that our generals pass strangely by him, as if he were forgot, and princes all lay negligent and loose regard upon him. I will come last. 'Tis like he'll question me, why such unplausive eyes are bent, why turned on him?
We'll execute your purpose and put on a form of strangeness as we pass along. So do each lord, and either greet him not, or else disdainfully, which shall shake him more than if not looked on. I will lead the way.
What comes a general to speak with me? You know my mind. I fight no more against Troy.
What says Achilles? Would he aught with us?
Would you, my lord, aught with the general?
No.
Nothing, my lord.
The better.
Good day. Good day.
How do you? How do you?
What, does the cuckold scorn me?
Oh, now, Patroclus.
Good morrow, Ajax.
Huh?
Good morrow.
Aye. And good next day, too.
What mean these fellows? Know they not Achilles?
They pass by strangely. They were used to bend, to send their smiles before them to Achilles, to come as humbly as they used to creep to holy altars.
What? Am I poor of late? 'Tis certain greatness once fallen out with fortune must fall out with men too. Not so with me. Fortune and I are friends. I do enjoy at ample points all that I did possess, save these men's looks, who do me things find something not worth in me such rich beholding as they have often given. Oh, here's Ulysses. I'll interrupt his reading. How now, Ulysses?
Now, great Thetis' son!
What are you reading?
That a strange fellow here writes me that man, how dearly ever parted, how much in having or without or in, cannot make boast to have that which he hath, nor fears not what he owes, but by reflection, as when his virtue shining upon others, heat them, and they retort his heat again to the first giver.
This is not strange, Ulysses. The beauty that is born here in the face the bearer knows not, but commends itself to others' eyes. Nor doth the eye itself, that most pure spirit of sense, behold itself not going from itself, but eye to eye, opposed, salutes each other with each other's form. The speculation turns not to itself till it hath travelled and is mirrored there where it may see itself. This is not strange at all.
I was much wrapped in this, and apprehended here immediately the unknown Ajax. Heavens, what a man is there! A very horse that he knows not what. Nature, what things there are most abject in regard and dear in use, what things again most dear in the esteem and poor in worth. Now shall we see tomorrow an act that very chance does throw upon him, Ajax, renowned. Oh, heavens, what some men do while some men leave to do. How some men creep in skittish Fortune's hall, while others play the idiots in her eyes. To see these Grecian lords, why, even already they clap and lubber Ajax on the shoulder as if his foot were on break Hector's breast, and great Troy shrieking.
I do believe it, for they passed by me as misers do by beggars. Neither gave to me good word or look. What, are my deeds forgot?
Time hath, my lord, a wallet at his back, wherein he puts alms for oblivion, a great-sized monster of ingratitudes. Those scraps are good deeds past, which are devoured as fast as they are made, forgot as soon as done. Perseverance, dear my lord, keeps honour bright. To have done is to hang quite out of fashion, like rusty mail and monumental mockery. Take the instant way, for honour travels in a strait so narrow that one but goes oppressed. Keep then the path, for emulation has 1,000 sons that one by one pursue. If you give way or hedge aside from the direct forthright, like an entertide they all rush by and leave you hindmost, or like a gallant horse fallen in the first rank, lie there on pavement to the abject rear, o'errun and trampled on. Then what they do in present, though less than yours in past, must o'ertop yours. Let not virtue seek remuneration for the thing it was, for beauty, wit, high birth, vigor of bone, desert in service, love, friendship, charity are subjects all to envious and calumniating time. The present I praises the present object. Then marvel not, thou great and complete man, that all the Greeks begin to worship Ajax, since things in motion sooner catch the eye than what stirs not. The cry went once on thee, and still it might, and yet it may again, if thou wouldst not entomb thyself alive, and case thy reputation in thy tent. What glorious deeds, but in the fields of late, much emulous missions mongst the gods themselves, and drave great Mars to faction.
Of this my privacy I have strong reasons.
Against your privacy, the reasons are more potent and heroical. 'Tis known, Achilles, that you're in love with one of Priam's daughters.
No.
Is that a wonder? The providence that's in a watchful state keeps place with thought, and almost like the gods do thoughts unveil in their dumb cradles. All the commerce that you have had with Troy, as perfectly as ours as yours, my lord, and better would fit Achilles much to throw down Hector than Polyxena. Farewell, my lord. I, as your lover, speak. The fool slides o'er the ice that you should break.
To this effect, Achilles, have I moved you. A woman impudent and mannish grown is not more loath than an effeminate man in time of action. I stand condemned for this. They think my little stomach to the war and your great love to me restrains you thus. Sweet, rouse yourself, and the weak, wanton Cupid shall from your neck unloose his amorous fold, and like a dewdrop from the lion's mane be shook to air.
Shall Ajax fight with Hector?
Aye, and perhaps receive much honor by him.
I see my reputation is at stake. My fame is crudely gored.
Oh, then beware. Those wounds heal ill that men do give themselves. Omission to do what is necessary seals a commission to a blank of danger, and danger like an ague subtly taints. Even then, as we sat idly in the sun.
Go call THERSITES hither, sweet Patroclus. I'll send the fool to Ajax and desire him to invite the Trojan lords after the combat, to see us here unarmed. I have a woman's longing and appetite that I'm sick withal, to see great Hector in his weeds of peace, to talk with him, to behold this visage, even to my full of view. Ah, a labor saved!
Oh, wonder!
What?
Ajax goes up and down the field asking for himself.
How so?
He must fight singly tomorrow with Hector, and is so prophetically proud of an heroical cudgeling that he raves in saying nothing.
How can that be?
Why, he stalks up and down like a peacock, astride and a stand. Man's undone forever, for if Hector break not his neck in combat, he'll break it himself in vain glory. He knows me not. I said, "Good morrow, Ajax," and he replies, "Thanks, Agamemnon." What think you of this man that takes me for the general? He's grown a very landfish, languageless, a monster, a plague of opinion. A man may wear it on both sides like a leather jerkin.
Thou must be my ambassador to him, THERSITES.
Who, I? What? He'll answer to nobody. He professes not answering. Speaking is for beggars. He wears his tongue in his arms. I will put on his presence. Let Patroclus make demands to me. You shall see the pageant of
Patroclus, tell him I humbly desire the valiant Ajax to invite the most valorous Hector to come unarmed to my tent, and to procure safe conduct for his person of the magnanimous and most illustrious 6 or 7 times honored Captain General of the Army, AGAMEMNON, etc. Do this.
Okay, so bless great Ajax. I come from the worthy Achilles, who most humbly desires you to invite Hector to his tent, and to procure safe conduct from Agamemnon.
Agamemnon?
Yeah, I, my lord. What say ye to it?
Goodbye, you, with all my heart.
Your answer, sir? Your answer, sir?
If tomorrow be a fair day, by 11 of the clock, I will go one way or the other. Howsoever you shall pay for me.
Your answer, sir?
I will, with all my heart.
Why, but this is not in this tune, is he?
No, but he's out of tune. What music will be in him when Hector has knocked out his brains? I know not, but I am sure none, unless the fiddler Apollo gets his sinews to make caplings on.
Come, thou shalt bear a letter to him straight.
Let me bear another to his horse, for that's the more capable creature.
My mind is troubled, like a fountain stirred, and I myself see not the bottom of it.
Would the fountain of your mind were clear again, that I might water an ass of it. I'd rather be a tick in a sheep than such a valiant ignorance.
Exit. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and sticking with us so far. Hope you're having a wonderful time there at home. This is your 5-minute interval. You now have 5 minutes to refresh your drinks, refresh yourselves, and indeed prepare for the second half to begin at 20:55 BST in approximately 5 minutes time. If you have any questions for myself or for Sarah, our wonderful producer, do let us know. Otherwise, please be ready for the second half to begin in approximately 5 minutes time. Sarah, how are you doing this evening?
Very good, thank you. It's really nice. This is, and I've seen a few people commenting in the chat, but this was a brand new experience for me. I didn't know anything about Troilus and Cressida. I'd never read it. I'd never seen it. Had a vague idea of the story just from, sort of general Greek history. But yeah, definitely not my strong suit. So yeah, it's been fantastic to just see it brought to life like this. Wow, fantastic cast. It's been brilliant.
It's a fascinating play, isn't it? We talked a little bit in rehearsals about the fact that it does feel like it pulls strongly in 4 different directions. It's a comedy and a tragedy, a history and a romance. And you've kind of got to really push into the corners of each one of those different genres, almost scene by scene or even moment by moment. I think the cast are doing such an incredible job with that. So thank you all so much for that. You may have also noticed that one of our members of our cast, the cheeky PANDARUS indeed, was modelling in his deep background a little bit of TSMGO merch, which if you would like to purchase, indeed you can on our wonderful Redbubble shop, and you can find a link to that in the description. You can also find mugs, clocks, throw cushions, more conventional things like t-shirts. It's all there to play for. And of course, incredible artwork and prints from the delightful Carly, who is sharing her artwork with us, and all proceeds go to Carly and to our Patreon opt-in hardship fund. Of course, if you'd like to donate directly to the Patreon opt-in hardship fund, you can do so by finding a link in the description, and you can donate as much or as little as you would like to do on a monthly rolling basis, and you can cancel anytime. So if you simply want to tip your actors for tonight's performance, you can do that too by simply signing up for a monthly donation and then cancelling immediately thereafter. The first payment will be taken and you won't be charged again. So feel free to tip your actors if you feel so inclined. Thank you so much. Sarah, do we have a Patreon update?
Yes, so I've got a couple of names to shout out this week, a couple of new donors to the project, and a couple of people who have increased their donations. So we are so grateful to all of you. It really means so much to everyone involved. As Rob has mentioned, everyone involved, the actors and the creators will do this voluntarily. So anything that you can spare for the participants is hugely appreciated. So our very generous people this week to shout out to are Zach W, Duncan K, Simon B, and Jerry and Helen M. So huge thank you to all of you. And yes, as I mentioned, if you head to the link in the video description, if you would like to contribute something, if you haven't already, you will also then be privy to some fantastic exclusive content that we share on a weekly basis. We have various things like actor vlogs, so you can get to see behind the scenes of what it's like to be involved in the show. We do a view from the actors, a view from the actor studio, I think we call it. So you get to see a little bit of all the various locations that our actors come from around the world. And we have some exclusive interviews. It's all very exciting, and a sneak peek before the show each week as well. So do head on over to access that.
Absolutely. And of course, if you haven't done already, please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, post your hashtags using the hashtag Show Must Go Online, and tag us at TSMG Online Live on Twitter or at The Show Must Go Online on Insta and Facebook. And we have a question in from our audience here. Someone has asked, can you say a little bit about what went into the decision to have Cassandra do the prologue? Well, absolutely, yes, more than happy to. We thought that it would be fitting for Cassandra to do the prologue because, of course, she's given the gift of foresight, but she's also cursed never to be believed by, I believe it's Apollo. And it was just an interesting distinction for us to try and draw that because the audience is outside of the universe of the play, they would be able to believe her about what has happened and is going to happen. And also the fact that in this play, there's a real obsession, and you'll hear it time and time again, just done it there, with time. And so Cassandra being able to see the future, but also fill you in on the past, felt like the person that was best placed to connect all those dots and to set the stage ready for the play to begin. And of course, the wonderful Maya bringing incredible energy to the play. There's a lovely quality in this play of expectation versus reality. It really feels like Shakespeare's trying to take all these wonderful Greek heroes off the pedestal that Homer put them on and really humanize them for better and indeed for much worse. And I think setting it up with Cassandra, who obviously has a kind of magical ability, perfectly helps to set the expectation for the play of this kind of wonderful mythic world that then becomes all too human when we meet Troilus for the first time. And the first thing the romantic hero of the play says is, oh, don't fancy going to war. And it kind of perfectly sets up the whole dilemma, I guess, or the tension that this play is really eking out. So thank you so much for your question. And now I believe it is time for the second half to begin. So Sarah, if you could repair to the backstage area, that would be much appreciated. And girls, non-binary pals, the second half is about to begin. So please do share your reactions on social using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline and enjoy the second half of Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida. Act 4, Scene 1, Troy, a street. Enter at one door Aeneas with a torch, at another Paris, Deiphobus, Antenor, Diomedes the Grecian, and others with torches.
See ho, who was that there?
It is the Lord Aeneas.
Is the prince there in person? Had I so good occasion to lie long as you, Prince Paris, nothing but heavenly business should rob my bedmate of my company.
That's my mind too. Good morrow, Lord Aeneas.
A valiant Greek, Aeneas. Take his hand. Witness the process of your speech, wherein you told Diomed a whole week by days did haunt you in the field.
We know each other well.
We do, and long to know each other worse.
This is the most despiteful, gentle greeting. What business, Lord, so early?
I was sent for to the king, but why? I know not.
His purpose meets you. 'Twas to bring this Greek to Calchas' house, and there to render him, for the enfreed Antenor, the fair Cressida. My brother Troilus lodges here tonight. Rouse him and give him note of our approach, with the whole quality wherefore I fear we shall be much more unwelcome.
That I assure you, Troilus had rather Troy were born to Greece than Cressida born from Troy.
There is no help. The bitter disposition of time will have it so. O Lord will follow you.
Good morrow, all.
And tell me, noble Diomedes, faith, tell me true, even in soul of sound good fellowship, who in your thoughts deserves fair Helen best?
Both merits poised, each weighs nor less nor more, but he as he, the heavier for a whore.
You are a bitter to your countrywoman.
She's bitter to her country. Hear me, Paris. For every false drop in her baldy veins, a Grecian's life hath sunk. Since she could speak, she hath not given so many good words breath, as for her Greeks and Trojans suffered death.
Fair Diomed, you do as chapmen do, dispraise the thing that they desire to buy, but when in silence hold this virtue well, will not command what we intend to sell. Here lies our way.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 2, Troy, a court before Pandarus's house. Enter Troilus and Cressida.
Dear, trouble not yourself, for morn is cold.
Then, sweet my lord, I'll call mine uncle down. He shall unbolt the gates.
Trouble him not. To bed, to bed. Sleep kill those pretty eyes, and give as much attachment to thy thought as infants, empty of all senses.
Good morrow, then.
I prithee now, to bed.
Are you aweary of me?
Oh, Cressida, but that the busy day waked by the lark hath roused the ribald crows, and dreaming night will hide our joys no longer, I would not from thee.
Night hath been too brief.
Beshrew the witch. With venomous wights she stays as tediously as hell, but flies the grasps of love with wings more momentary swift than thought. You will catch cold and curse me.
Prithee tarry. You men never tarry. Oh, foolish Cressida, I should have still held off. Then you would have tarried. Hark, there's one up.
What? What's all the doors open here?
Oh, 'tis your uncle.
How now? How now? How go, maiden?
A pestilence upon him. Now he will be...
Here, you maid. Where's my cousin Cressida?
Go hang yourself, you naughty mucking uncle. You bring me to do, and then you flout me too.
To do what? To do what? Let her say what. What have I brought you to do?
Come, come, beshrew your heart, you'll ne'er be good, nor suffer others.
Alas, poor wretch. Ah, poor Capocchia. Hast not slept tonight? Would he not, a naughty man, let it sleep? A bugbear take him.
Did not I tell you, would he were knocked in the head? Who's that? Good uncle, go and see. My lord, come you again to my chamber. You smile and mock me as if I meant naughtily. Come, come, you are deceived. I think of no such thing. How earnestly they knock. Pray you come in. I would not for half of Troy seen you here.
Who's there? Who's there? Oh, what's the matter? Will you beat down the door? How now? What's the matter?
Good morrow, Lord, good morrow.
Who's there? Oh, my Lord AENEAS. By my troth, I know you not. What news? What news with you so early?
Is not Prince Troilus here?
Here? What should he do here?
You do. He is here, my lord. Do not deny him. It doth import him much to speak with me.
Is he here, say you? It's more than I know, I'll be sworn. For my own part, I came in late. What should he do here?
Nay, then, come, you do him wrong ere you are ware. You'll be so true to him to be false to him. Do not even know of him, but go fetch him hither, go!
How now? What's the matter?
My lord, I scarce have leisure to salute you, my matter is so rash. There is at hand Paris, your brother, and Dephobus, the Grecian Diomed, and our Antenor, delivered to us, and for him, forthwith, ere the first sacrifice within this hour, we must give up to Diomedes and the Lady Cressida.
Is it so concluded?
By Priam and the general state of Troy, they are at hand and ready to effect it.
How my achievements mock me. I will go and meet them, and my lord AENEAS. We met by chance. You did not find me here.
Good, my lord. The secrets of nature have not more gift in taciturnity.
Is it possible? No sooner got but lost? The devil take Antenor. The young prince will go mad, a plague upon Eltenor. Or would they broke his neck?
Oh, now, what's the matter? Who is here? Why sigh you so profoundly? Where's my lord? Gone? Tell me, sweet uncle, what's the matter?
Would I were as deep under the earth as I am above?
Oh, the gods, what's the matter?
Lady, get thee in. Would thou hadst never been born. I knew thou wouldst be his death. Oh, poor gentleman, a plague upon Antenor.
Good uncle, I beseech you on my knees. I beseech you, what's the matter?
Thou must be gone, wench. Thou must be gone. Thou art changed for Antenor. Thou must to thy father and be gone from Troilus. 'Twill be his death, 'twill be his bane. He cannot bear it.
Oh, you immortal gods, I will not go.
Thou must.
I will not, uncle. I have forgot my father. I know no touch of consanguinity, no kin, no love, no blood, no soul so near me as sweet Troilus. Oh, you gods divine, if ever I am false, make Cressida's name the very crown of falsehood, if ever she leave Troilus. Time, force, and death. Do to this body what extremes you can. But the strong base and building of my love is as the very center of the earth, drawing all things new. I'll go in and weep. Tear my fine hair, scratch my praised cheeks, crack my clear voice with sobs, and break my heart with sounding Troilus. I will not go from Troy.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 3, Troy, a street before Pandarus' house. Enter Paris, Troilus, Aeneas, Dephobus, Antenor, Diomedes.
It is a great morning, and the hour prefixed for her delivery to this valiant Greek comes fast upon. Good my brother Troilus, tell you the lady what she is to do, and haste her to her purpose.
Walk into her house. I'll bring her to the Grecian presently. And to his hand, when I deliver her, think it an altar, and thy brother Troilus a priest there, offering it his own heart.
I know what 'tis to love, and would I, as shall I pity, I could help. Please, you walk, my lords.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 4, Troy, Pandarus' house. Enter Pandarus and Cressida.
Be moderate, be moderate.
Why tell you me of moderation? The grief is fine, full, perfect that I taste, and violineth in a sense as strong as that which causeth it. How can I be moderate? My love admits no qualifying dross, no more my grief in such a precious loss.
Here he comes, sweet ducks.
Oh, Troilus, Troilus.
Oh, what a pair of spectacles is here. Let me embrace too. Oh, heart. Oh, heart, as the goodly saying is. Oh, heart, heavy heart, why sighest thou without breaking? Where he answers again, because thou canst not ease thy smart by friendship, nor by spaking. There was never a truer rhyme. How now, lambs?
Cressida, I love thee in so strained a purity that the blessed gods, as angry with my fancy, more bright in zeal than the devotion which cold lips blows to their deities.
Take the gods envy.
Aye, Ay, 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 'tis too plain a case.
I must go from Troy. And what, from Troilus too?
From Troy and Troilus.
Is it possible?
And suddenly, we two that with so many thousand sighs did buy each other, must poorly sell ourselves with the rude brevity and discharge of one. Injurious time now makes with a robber's haste, crams his rich thievery up, he knows not how, as many farewells as stars in heaven, with distinct breath and consigned kisses to them, he fumbles up into a loose adieu, and scants us with a single famished kiss, distasted by the salt of broken tears.
My lord, is the lady ready?
Hark, you are called. Some say the genius so cries, come to him that must instantly die. Bid them have patience, she shall come anon.
Where are my tears? Rain to lay this wind, or my heart will be blown up by the root.
I must then to the Grecians.
No remedy.
A woeful cressid amongst the merry Greeks. When shall we see again?
Hear me, love. Be thou true of heart.
Ay, true. What wicked deem is this?
Nay, we must not use our expostulation kindly, for it is parting from us. I speak not be thou true as fearing thee, for I will throw my glove to death himself that there is no maculation in thy heart. But be thou true, say I to fashion in my sequent protestation. Be thou true, and I will see thee.
You shall be exposed, my lord, but I'll be true.
And I'll grow friend with danger. Wear this sleeve.
And you this glove. When shall I see you?
I will corrupt the Grecian sentinels to give thee nightly visitation, but yet be true.
Oh, heavens, be true again.
Hear why I speak it, love. The Grecian youths are full of quality. They're loving, well composed with a gift of nature, flowing and swelling over with arts and exercise. How novelty may move, and parts with person, alas, a kind of godly jealousy, which I beseech thee call a virtuous sin, makes me afeard.
Oh, heavens.
Die I a villain then? In this, I do not call your faith in question so mainly as my merit. I cannot sing, nor heal the high lavolt, nor sweeten talk, nor play at subtle games, fair virtues all, to which the Grecians are most prompt and pregnant. But I can tell thee that in each grace of these there lurks a still dumb, discoursive devil that tempts most cunningly, but be not tempted.
Do you think I will?
No, but something may be done that we will not. And sometimes we are devils to ourselves, and we will tempt the frailty of our powers, presuming on their changeful potency.
Nay, good my lord.
Come, kiss, let us part.
Brother Troilus?
Good brother, come you hither, and bring AENEAS and the Grecian with you.
My lord, will you be true?
Who, I? Alas, it is my vice, my fault. While others fish with craft for great opinion, I with great truth catch mere simplicity. Fear not my truth, the moral of my wit is plain and true. There's all the reach of it. Welcome, Sir Diomede. Here is the lady which for antenna we deliver you. At the port, Lord, I'll give her to thy hand, and by the way possess thee what she is. Entreat her fair, And by my soul, fair Greek, if ever thou stand at the mercy of my sword, name Cressida, and thy life shall be as safe as Priam in Ilium.
Fair Lady Cressida, so please you, save the thanks this prince expects. The luster in your eye, heaven in your cheek, plead your fair usage, and to Diomed, you shall be mistress and command him wholly.
Grecian, thou dost not use me courteously, to shame the seal of my petition to thee in praising her. I tell thee, Lord of Greece, she is as far high soaring over thy praise as thou unworthy to be called her servant. I charge thee, use her well, even for my charge, for by the dreadful Pluto, if thou dost not, over great bulk Achilles be thy guard, I'll cut thy throat.
Oh, be not moved, Prince Troilus. Let me be privileged by my place and message to be a speaker free. When I am hence, I'll answer my lust, and know you, Lord, I'll nothing do on charge. To her own worth, she shall be prized, and that you say, be it so, I speak it in my spirit and honor, no.
Come to the port. I'll tell thee, Diomed, this brave shall oft make thee to hide thy head. Lady, give me your hand, and as we walk to ourselves, we bend our needful talk.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 5, the Grecian camp. Enter Ajax armed, Achilles, Patroclus, Agamemnon, Menelaus, Ulysses, Nestor, Greek trumpeter, etc.
Here art thou in appointment, fresh and fair, anticipating time. With starting courage, give with thy trumpet a loud note to Troy, thou dreadful Ajax, that the appalled air may pierce the head of the great combatant and hail him hither.
Oh, trumpet, there's my purse. Now crack thy lungs and split thy brazen pipe. Thou blowest for Hector.
No trumpet answers.
'Tis but early days.
Is not yon Diomed with Calchas' daughter?
'Tis he. I ken the manner of his gait. He rises on the toe. That spirit of his aspiration lifts him from the earth.
Is this the Lady Cressida?
Even she.
Most dearly welcome to the Greeks, sweet lady.
Our general does salute you.
Yes, is the kindness but particular? 'Twere better she were kissed in general.
And very courtly counsel. I'll begin. Oh. So much for Nestor.
I'll take that winter from your lips, fair lady. Achilles bids you welcome.
Whoa!
I had good argument for kissing once.
But that's no argument for kissing now, for thus popped Paris in his argument, and parted thus you and your argument.
Our deadly goal and theme of all our sons, for which we lose our heads to gild his horns.
The first was Menelaus's kiss, this mine.
Ooh.
Patroclus kisses you.
Oh, this is trim.
Paris and I kiss evermore for him.
I'll have my kiss, sir. Lady, by your leave.
In kissing, do you render or receive?
Oh, both take and give.
I'll make my match to live. The kiss you take is better than you give.
I'll give thee boot. I'll give thee 3 for 1.
You are an odd man. Give even or give none.
An odd man, lady. Every man is odd.
No, Paris is not. For you know 'tis true that you are odd, and he is even with you.
Philip,
Sworn.
It were no match, your nail against his horn. May I, sweet lady, beg a kiss of you?
You may.
I do desire it.
Why beg then?
Why then, for Venus' sake, give me a kiss, when Helen is a maid again, and his.
I am your debtor. Claim it when 'tis due.
Ever's my day, and then a kiss of you.
Lady, a word. I'll bring you to your father.
A woman of quick sense.
Fie! Fie upon her! There's language in her eye, her cheek, her lip. Nay, her foot speaks. Her wanton spirits look out of every joint and motive of her body.
Trojan's trumpet.
Trojan's trumpet. Yonder comes the troop.
Hail all the state of Greece. What shall be done to him that victory commands? Or do you purpose a victor shall be known? Will you, the knights, shall to the edge of all extremity pursue each other, or shall they be divided by any voice or order of the field? Hector bade us.
Which way would Hector have it?
He cares not, he'll obey conditions.
Oh, 'tis done like Hector.
But securely done, a little proudly and a great deal misprizing the knight opposed.
If not Achilles, sir, what is your name?
If not Achilles, nothing.
Therefore Achilles. But whate'er, know this. In the extremity of great and little, valor and pride excel themselves in Hector, one almost as infinite as all, and the other as blank as nothing. Weighing him well, that which looks like pride is courtesy. This Ajax is half made of Hector's blood, in love whereof half Hector stays at home. Half heart, half hand, half Hector comes and seeks the splendid knight, half Trojan, half Greek.
A maid in battle then. Oh, I perceive you.
Here is Sir Diomede. Go, gentle knight, stand by our Ajax, as you and Lord Aeneas consent upon the order of the fight. So be it, either to the uttermost, or else a breath. The combatants being kin, half stints their strife before the strokes begin.
They are opposed already.
What Trojan is that same that looks so heavy?
The youngest son of Priam, a true knight, not yet mature, yet matchless, firm of words, speaking in deeds and deedless in his tongue, manly as Hector, but more dangerous. They call him Troilus, and on him erect a second hope as fairly built as Hector. Thus, Aeneas, one who knows the youth even to his inches, and with his private soul did in great Ilion thus translate him to me.
They are in action.
Yeah!
Now, Ajax, hold thine own!
Hector, thou sleepest, awake thee!
His blows are well disposed there, Ajax!
You must know more!
Princess, enough, so please you.
I am not yet warm. Let us fight again.
As Hector pleases.
Why then will I no more. Thou art, great lord, my father's sister's son, the cousin german to great Priam's seed. The obligation of our blood forbids a gory emulation twixt us twain. Cousin, all honor to thee.
I thank thee, Hector. Thou art too gentle and too free a man. I came to kill thee, cousin, and bear hence a great addition earned in thy death.
Neoptolemus, so miserable, on whose bright crest fame with her loudest oyez cries, this is he, could promise to himself a thought of added honor torn from Hector.
Expectance here from both sides. What further will you do?
We'll answer it. The issue is embracement. Ajax, farewell.
Great. If I might in entreaties find success, as seldom I have the chance, I would desire my famous cousin to our Grecian tents.
'Tis Agamemnon's wish, and great Achilles doth long to see unarmed the valiant Hector.
Aeneas, call my brother Troilus to me and signify this loving interview to the expectors of our Trojan part. Desire them home. Give me thy hand, my cousin. I will go eat with thee and see your knights.
Great Agamemnon comes to meet us here.
The worthiest of them tell me name by name, but for Achilles, my own searching eyes shall find him by his large and portly size.
Worthy all arms, as welcome as to one that would be rid of such an enemy. That's no welcome. Understand more clear. What's past and what's to come is strewed with husks and formless ruin of oblivion. But in this extant moment, faith and troth, strained purely from all hollow bias drawing, bids thee with most divine integrity, from heart of very heart, great Hector, welcome.
I thank thee, most imperious Agamemnon.
Oh, my well-famed lord of Troy, no less to you.
I wonder how yon city stands when we have her base and pillar by us.
I know your favour, Lord Ulysses, well. Ah, sir, there's many a Greek and Trojan dead, since first I saw yourself and Diomedes in Ilion on your Greekish embassy.
Sir, I foretold you then what would ensue. My prophecy is but half his journey yet. For yonder walls that pertly front your town, yon towers whose wanton tops to busty clouds must kiss their own feet.
I must not believe you. There they stand yet, and, modestly I think, a drop for the fall of every Phrygian stone will cost a drop of Grecian blood. The end crowns all, and that old common arbitrator, time, will one day end it.
So we leave it to him. Most gentle and most valiant Hector, welcome after the general. I beseech you next to feast with me and see me in my tent.
I shall forestall thee, Lord Ulysses, thou. Now, Hector, I have fed mine eyes on thee, and I have with exact view perused thee, Hector, and quoted joint by joint.
It's Achilles.
I am Achilles.
That's fair, I pray thee. Let me look on thee.
Behold thy fill.
Nay, I've done already.
Tell me, you heavens, in which part of his body shall I destroy him? Whether there, or there? That I may give the local wound a name, and make distinct the very breach whereout Hector's great spirit flew. Answer me, heavens.
It would discredit the blessed god's proud man to answer such a question. Stand again. Think'st thou to catch my life so pleasantly as to prenominate in nice conjecture where thou wilt hit me dead?
I tell ye, yeah.
Wert thou an oracle to tell me so, I'd not believe thee. Henceforth guard thee well, for I'll not kill thee there, nor there, nor there, but by the forge that stithied Mars his helm, I'll kill thee everywhere, yea, o'er and o'er. You wisest Grecians, pardon me this brag, his insolence draws folly from my lips, but I'll endeavour deeds to match these words. Or may I never enter the field.
Do not chafe thee, cousin. And you, Achilles, let these threats alone, till accident or purpose bring you to it. You may have every day enough of Hector, if you had the stomach. The general state, I fear, can scarce entreat you to be odd with him.
I pray you, let us see you in the field. We have had pelting wars since you refused the Grecians' cause.
Dost thou entreat me, Hector? Tomorrow I do meet thee, fell as death. Tonight, all friends.
Thy hand upon that match.
Beat loud the taborins, let the trumpets blow, that this great soldier may his welcome know.
My Lord Ulysses, tell me, I beseech you, in what place of the field doth Calchas keep?
Menelaus' tent, most princely Troilus. There Diomedes doth feast with him tonight, who neither looks upon the heaven nor the earth, but gives all gaze unbent of amorous view. on the fair Cressida.
Shall I, sweet lord, be bound to you so much after we part from Agamemnon's tent to bring me thither?
You shall command me, sir. But gentle tell me, of what honour was this Cressida in Troy? Had she no lover there that wails her absence?
Oh, sir, to such as boasting show their scars a mock is due. Will you walk on, my lord? She was beloved, she loved, she is and doth. But still sweet love is food for fortune's tooth.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 1, the Grecian camp before Achilles' tent. Enter Achilles and Patroclus.
I'll heat his blood with Greekish wine tonight, which with my scimitar I'll cool tomorrow. Patroclus, let us feast him to the height.
Here comes Thersites.
How now, thy core of envy, thou crusty batch of nature, what's the news?
Why, thou picture of what thou seemest, and idol of idiot worships, here's a letter for thee.
From whence? Fragment.
Why, thou full dish of fool, from Troy.
Keep the tent now.
Prithee be silent, boy, I profit not by thy talk. Thou art said to be Achilles' male varlet.
Male varlet, you rogue, what's that?
Why, his masculine whore. Now the rotten diseases of the south, the guts gripping ruptures, catarrhs, lethargies, cold palsies, raw eyes, dirty rotten livers, wheezing lungs, bladders full of imposthume, sciaticas take and take again, such preposterous discoveries.
Why, thou damnable box of envy, thou, what meanst thou to curse thus?
Do I curse thee?
Why, no, you ruinous butt. You horse and indistinguishable cur, no.
No, why art thou then exasperate, thou tossel of a prodigal's purse, thou? How the poor world is pestered with such waterflies, diminutives of nature.
Out, go.
Finch egg.
My sweet Patroclus, I am quite from my great purpose in tomorrow's battle. Here's a letter from Queen Hecuba, a token from her daughter, my fair love, both taxing me and engaging me to keep an oath I have sworn. I will not break it. Fall, Greeks, fail fame, honor, or go or stay. My major vow lies here. This I'll obey. Come, Thersites, help me to trim my tent. This night in banqueting must all be spent. Away, Patroclus.
With too much blood and too little brain, these two may run mad. But if with too much brain and too little blood they do, I'll be a curer of madmen. Here's Agamemnon, an honest fellow enough, and one that loves quails, but he has not so much brain as earwax. And the goodly transformation of Jupiter there, his brother, the bull, the primitive statue and oblique memorial of cuckolds. He is both ox and ass. To be a dog, a mule, a cat, a toad, a lizard, an owl, or a herring without a roe, I would not care. But to be Menelaus, I would conspire against destiny. Ask me not what I would be if I were not Thersites, for I care not to be the louse of a leper, so I were not Menelaus. Hey day, sprites and fires!
We go wrong, we go wrong.
Oh, Yonetes, there where we see the lights.
Won't trouble you.
No, not a whit.
Here comes himself to guide you.
Welcome, brave Hector. Welcome, princes all.
So now, fair Prince of Troy, I bid good night. Ajax commands the guard to tend on you.
Thanks, and good night to the Greeks, General.
Good night.
Old Nestor tarries, and you too, Diomede. Keep Hector company an hour or two.
I cannot, my lord. I have important business, the tide whereof is now. Good night, great Hector.
Give me a hand.
Follow his torch. He goes to Calchas' tent. I'll keep you company.
Sweet sir, you honor me.
And so, good night.
Come, enter my tent.
Same Diomedes, a false-hearted rogue, a most unjust knave. I will no more trust him when he leers than I will a serpent when he hisses. They say he keeps a Trojan drab and uses the traitor Calchas' tent. I'll after nothing but lechery, all incontinent varlets.
Exit. Act 5, Scene 2, the Grecian camp, before Calchas' tent. Enter Diomedes.
What? Are you up here? Ho! Speak!
Who calls?
Diomede. Calchas, I think. Where's your daughter?
She comes to you.
Stand where the torch may not discover us.
How now, my charge?
Now, my sweet guardian, hark a word with you.
Yea, so familiar.
She was sing any man at first sight.
Oh, any man may sing her, if he can take her clef. She's noted.
Will you remember?
Remember, yes.
Nay, but do then, and let your mind be coupled with your words.
Shall she remember?
Hist.
Sweet honey Greek, tempt me no more to folly.
Roguery!
Nay then.
I'll tell you what.
Foe, come, tell a pin. You are forsworn.
In faith I cannot. What would you have me do?
A draw juggling trick to be secretly open.
What did you swear you would bestow on me?
I prithee, do not hold me to mine oath. Bid me do anything but that sweet Greek.
Good night.
Old patience.
And now, Trojan.
Diomed.
No, good night. I'll be your fool no more.
I better must.
Hark a word in your ear.
Plagues of madness!
Well moved, Prince. Let us depart, I pray you, lest your displeasure should enlarge itself to wrathful terms. This place is dangerous, the time right deadly. I beseech you, go.
Hold, I pray you.
Now, good my lord, go off. You flew to great distraction. Come, my lord.
Prithee, stay.
You have not patience, come.
I pray you stay. By hell and all hell's torments, I will not speak a word.
And so,
Nay, but you part in anger.
Grievy, oh, with the truth.
How now, my lord?
Guardian, why Greek?
Foe, adieu, you
In
palter.
faith, I do not. Come hither again.
You shake, my lord, at something. Will you go? You will break out.
Strokes his cheek.
Come.
Nay, stay, by Jove, I will not speak a word. There is, between my will and all offences, a guard of patience. Stay a little while.
How the devil luxury with his fat rump potato fingers tickles these together. Fly, lechery, fry.
But will you then?
Faith, I will. Lo, trust me, never else.
Give me some token for the surety of it.
I'll fetch you one.
You have sworn patience.
Hear me not, my lord. I will not be myself, nor have cognition of what I feel. I am all patience.
No, the pledge! Now!
Diomed, keep this sleeve.
Oh, beauty, where is my faith?
My lord!
I will be patient. Outwardly, I will.
You look upon that sleeve. Behold it well. He loved me. Oh, false wench! Give it me again.
Whose was it?
It is no matter now. I had again. I will not meet with you tomorrow night. I prithee, Diomed, visit me no more.
Now she sharpens well said whetstone.
I shall have it.
What? This?
Aye, that.
Oh, you gods, oh pretty, pretty pledge, thy master now lies thinking on his bed of thee and me, and gives memorial dainty kisses to it as I love thee. Nay, do not snatch it from me. He that take that doth take my heart withal.
I had your heart before. This follows it.
I'd swear patience.
You shall not have it, Diomed. Faith, you shall not. I'll give you something else.
I will have this. Whose was it?
It is no matter.
Come, tell me whose it was.
It was one that loved me better than you will. But now you have it, take it.
Whose was it?
By Diana's waiting woman yond, and by herself. I will not tell you whose.
Tomorrow I would wear it on my helm and grieve his spirit that dares not challenge it.
Wert thou the devil and wast it on thy helm, it should be challenged.
Well, 'tis done. 'Tis past, and yet 'tis not. I will not keep my word.
Why then, farewell. Thou never shalt mock Diomed again.
Shall not go. One cannot speak a word, but it straight starts you.
I do not like this fooling.
Nor I, by Pluto. But that likes not you pleases me best.
What shall I come?
I come. By Jove, do come. I shall be plagued.
Farewell till then.
Good night. I prithee come. Troilus, farewell. One eye yet looks on thee, but with my heart the other eye doth see. Ah, poor our sex. This fault in us I find. The error of our eye directs our mind. What error leads must err. Oh, then conclude. Mind swayed by eyes are full of turpitude.
A proof of strength she could not publish more, unless she said, my mind is now turned whore.
All's done, my lord.
It is.
Why stay then?
To make a recordation to my soul of every syllable that was his spoke. But if I tell how these two did coact, shall I not lie in publishing a truth? Sith yet there is a credence in my heart, an esperance so obstinately strong, that doth invert the attest of ears and eyes, as if those organs had deceptuous functions created only to calumniate. Was Cressida here?
I cannot conjure, Trojan.
This she? No, this is Diomedes, Cressida. If beauty have a soul, this was not she. If souls guide vows, if vows be sanctimonies, if sanctimony be the god's delight, if there be rule in unity itself, this was not she. Oh, madness of discourse, that cause sets up with and against itself bifold authority, where reason can revolt without perdition, and loss assume all reason without revolt. This is, and is not, Cressida. Instance. Oh, instance. Strong as Pluto's gate, Cressida is mine, tied with the bonds of heaven. Instance. Oh, instance. Strong as heaven itself, the bonds of heaven are slipped, dissolved, and loosed. And with another knot, 5-finger tied the fractions of her faith, aughts of her love, the fragments, scraps, the bits, and greasy relics of her o'er-eaten faith are given to Diomed.
May worthy Troilus be half attached with that which here his passion doth express?
Hark, Greek, as much as I do Cressida love, so much by weight hate I her Diomed. That sleeve is mine, he'll bear on his helm. Were it a casque composed by Vulcan's skill, my sword should bite it. Not the dreadful spout, constriding in mass by the almighty sun, shall dizzy with more clamour Neptune's ear in his descent than shall my prompted sword falling on Diomede.
He'll tickle it for his concupy.
Oh, Cressida. Oh, false Cressida. False. Let all untruths stand by thy stained name, and they'll seem glorious.
Oh, contain yourself! Your passion draws ears hither. I'll bring you to the gates.
Set distracted at thanks.
Lechery. Lechery. Still wars and lechery. Nothing else holds fashion. A burning devil take 'em.
Exit. Act 5, Scene 3, Troy before Priam's palace. Enter Hector and Andromache.
Unarm, unarm, and do not fight today. Pray me to offend you, get you in. By all the everlasting gods, I'll go. My dreams will sure prove ominous today. No more, I say.
Where is my brother Hector?
Here, sister, armed and bloody in intent, consort with me and loud and dear petition, pursue we him on knees, for I have dreamt of bloody turbulence, and this whole night hath nothing been but shapes and forms of slaughter.
Oh, it is true.
Oh, bid my trumpet sound!
No notes of Sally for the heavens, sweet.
Speak on, I say, the gods have heard me swear.
The gods are deaf to hot and peevish vows. They are polluted offering, more abhorred than spotted levers in the sacrifice.
Be persuaded! Do not count it holy to hurt by being just. It is as lawful, for we would give much to use violent thefts and rob in the behalf of charity.
It is the purpose that makes strong the vow, but vows to every purpose must not hold. Unarm, sweet Hector.
Still, I say, mine honour keeps the weather of my fate. Life every man holds dear, but the dear man holds honour far more precious dear than life. How now, young man? Mean'st thou to fight today? Cassandra, call my father to persuade. No, faith, young Troilus, doff thy harness, youth. I am today in the vein of chivalry. Let grow thy sinews till their knots be strong, and tempt not yet the brushes of the war. Unarm thee, go, and doubt thou not, brave boy, I'll stand today for thee and me and Troy.
Who should withhold me? Not Primus and Hecuba on knees, their eyes over gold with recourse of tears, nor you, my brother, with your true sword drawn, opposed to hinder me should stop my way, but by my ruin.
Nay, hold upon him, Priam, hold him fast.
Come, Hector, come, go back. Thy wife hath dreamt, thy mother hath had visions, Cassandra doth foresee, and I myself am like a prophet suddenly enwrapped to tell thee this day is ominous. Therefore, come back.
Aeneas is afield, and I do stand engaged to many Greeks, even in the faith of valour, to appear this morning to them.
Aye, but thou shalt not go.
I must not break my faith. You know me dutiful. Therefore, dear sir, let me not shame respect, but give me leave to take that course by your consent and voice, which you do here forbid me, royal Priam.
Oh, Priam, yield not to him.
Do not, dear father. Andromache, I am offended with you. Upon the love you bear me, get you in.
This foolish, dreaming, superstitious girl makes all these bodements.
Oh, farewell, dear Hector. Look how thou diest. Oh, look how thy eyes turns pale. Look how thy wounds do bleed at many vents. Oh, Troy burn roars. Oh, how Hector cries out. How poor Andromache shrills her dolors forth. Oh, behold, distraction, frenzy, and amazement, like witless antiques one another meet, and oh, cry, Hector, Hector's dead! Oh, Hector! Farewell, yet soft, Hector, I take my leave. Thou dost thyself and all our Troy deceive.
You are amazed, my liege, at her exclaim. Go in and cheer the town. We'll forth and fight, do deeds worth praise, and tell you them at night.
Farewell. The gods with safety stand about thee.
They are at it. Hark! Proud Diomede, believe I come to lose my arm or win my sleeve.
Do you hear, my lord? Do you hear?
What now?
Here's a letter come from yon poor girl. Horse and Tissac. Horse and rascally Tissac so troubles me. And the foolish fortune of this girl. And what one thing and what another, that I shall leave you one of these days. And I have a rheum in my eyes too. It's such an ache in my bones that unless a man were cursed, I cannot tell what to think on't. What says she there?
Words, mere words, no matter. From the heart the effect doth operate another way. Go wind, to wind, their turn, and change together. My love with words and errors still she feeds, but edifies yet another with her deeds.
Exeunt severally. Act 5, Scene 4, the plains between Troy and the Grecian camp. Enter THERSITES.
Now they are clawing one another. I'll go look on. That dissembling, abominable varlet Diomede has got that same scurvy, doting, foolish young knave sleeve of Troy there in his helm. I would fain see them meet. That same young Trojan ass that loves the whore there might send that Greekish whore, masterly villain with the sleeve, back to the dissembling, luxurious drab of a sleeveless errand. Soft, here comes sleeve and t'other.
Fly not, for shouldst thou... Fly not, for shouldst thou take the river Styx, I would swim after.
Thou dost, mistress, call retire. I do not fly, but advantageous care withdrew me from the odds of multitude. Have at thee!
Hold thy whore, Grecian! Now for thy whore, Trojan! Now the slave! The slave!
What art thou, Greek? Art thou for Hector's match? Thou of blood and honour?
No, I am a rascal, a scurvy railing neither than a very filthy rogue.
I do believe thee.
Mercy, thou wilt believe me. But a plague break thy neck for frighting me. What's become of the wrenching rogues? I think they've swallowed one another. I would laugh at that miracle, yet in a sword, lechery eats itself. I'll seek 'em.
Exit. Act 5, Scene 5, another part of the plains. Enter Diomedes and his servant.
Go, my servant, take thou Troilus' horse. Present the fair steed to my lady Cressida. Fellow, commend my service to her beauty. Tell her I have chastised the amorous Trojan, and am her knight by proof.
I go, my lord.
Renew! The fierce Polydamas hath beat down Menon. Bastard Megarolon doth stand colossus wise, waving his beam upon the passionate courses of the kings Epistrophus and Cedius. Polixenes is slain. Patroclus, Tichenor slain, and Palamedes sore hurt and bruised. The dreadful Sagittary appalls our numbers. Haste we, Diomede, to reinforcement, or we perish all.
Go. Bear Patroclus' body to Achilles, and bid the snail-paced Ajax on for shame. There is 1,000 Hectors in the field. Now here he fights on Galate his horse, and there the storied Greeks right for his aid. Fall down before him like a mower's swath. Here, there, and everywhere he leaves and takes, dexterity so obeying appetite, that what he will, he does. And does so much. That proof is called impossibility.
Oh, courage, courage, princes! Great Achilles is arming, weeping, cursing, vowing vengeance. Patroclus' wounds has roused his drowsy blood, together with his mangled myrmidons, that noseless, handless, hacked and chipped, come to him, crying on Hector. Ajax has lost a friend and foams at mouth. He is armed and at it, roaring for Troilus, who hath done today mad and fantastic execution.
Troilus! Thou coward, Troilus!
Aye, there.
So, we roar together!
Where is this Hector? Come, thy boy queller, show thy face. Know what it is to meet Achilles angry. Hector, I will none, but Hector.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 6, another part of the plains. Enter Ajax.
Troilus! Coward Troilus, show thy head!
Troilus! I say, where's Troilus?
What wouldst thou?
I would correct him.
Were I the general, thou should have my office ere that correction. Troilus! I say what, Troilus?
O traitor Diomede, turn thy false face, thou traitor, and pay thy life thou owest me for my horse.
Ha! Art thou there?
I'll fight with him alone. Stand, Diomede.
He is my prize. I will not look upon.
Come, both you cogging Greeks.
Hey, Troilus! Oh, well fought, my youngest brother.
Now, I do see thee. Have at thee, Hector!
Pause, if thou wilt.
I do this thing thy courtesy, proud Trojan. Be happy that my arms are out of use. My rest and negligence befriends thee now, but thou anon shalt hear of me again. Till when, go seek thy fortune.
Fare thee well! I would have been much more a fresher man had I expected thee. How now, my brother?
Ajax have taken Aeneas. Shall it be? No. By the flame of yonder glorious heaven he shall not carry him. I'll be taken too, or bring him off. Fate, hear me what I say. I'll reck not, though I end my life today.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 7, another part of the plains. Enter Achilles with Myrmidons.
Come hear about me, you my Myrmidons. Mark what I say. Attend me where I will. Strike, not a stroke, but keep yourselves in breath. And when I have the bloody Hector found, impale him with your weapons round about. In fellous manner, execute your arms. Follow me, sirs, and my proceedings. Aye, it is decreed, Hector the Great must die.
hounds!
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 8, another part of the plains. Enter Hector.
Most putrefied core, so fair without. Thy goodly armour thus hath cost thy life. Now is my day's work done. I'll take good breath. Rest, sword. Thou hast thy fill of blood and death.
Look, Hector, how the sun begins to set. How ugly night comes breathing at his heels, even with the veil and darkening of the sun to close the day up. Hector's life is done.
I am unarmed. Forgo this vantage, Greek.
Strike, fellow, strike. This is So, Ilion. Fall thou next. Come, Troy, sink down. Here lies thy heart, thy sinews, and thy bone. On, Myrmidons, and cry you all amain. Achilles hath the mighty Hector slain. Hark, a retire in our Grecian part.
The Trojan trumped and some alike, my lord.
The dragon wing of Nior spreads the earth, and a stickler like the army separates. My half-supped sword that frankly would have fed, please with this dainty bait, this ghost to bed. Come, tie his body to my horse's tail. Along the field I will the Trojan trail.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 9, another part of the plains. Enter Agamemnon, Ajax, Menelaus, Nestor, Diomedes, and the rest.
Hark. What shout was this?
Peace drums.
Achilles! Achilles! Hector slain! Achilles!
Brutus, Hector slain, and by Achilles.
If it be so, yet bragless let it be. Great Hector was as good a man as he.
March patiently along. Let one be sent to pray Achilles see us at our tent. If in his death the gods have us befriended, great joy is ours, and our sharp wars are ended.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 10, another part of the plains. Enter Aeneas, Paris, Antenor, Deiphobus.
Stand how! Get our way, masters of the field!
Never go home. Here starve we out the night. Hector is slain.
Oh, Hector, the gods forbid!
He's dead. And the murderer's horse's tail in beastly sort dragged through the shameful field. Frown on, you heavens! Affect your rage with speed. Sit gods upon your thrones and smile at Troy. I say at once, let your brief plagues be mercy and linger not our sure destruction on.
My lord, you do discomfort all the host.
Let him that will a screech owl I be called go into Troy and say there, Hector's dead. There is a word that will turn Priam to stone. Make wells and niobes of the maids and wives, cold statues of the youths, and, in a word, scare Troy out of itself. But march away! Hector is dead. There is no more to say. Stay yet, you abominable tents. I'll through and through you! And you, great-sized coward, no space of earth shall sunder our two hates. Strike a free march, to Troy with comfort go. Hope of revenge shall hide our inward woe.
Hear you? Hear you?
Hence, broker, lackey! Ignominy, shame, pursue thy life, and live I with thy name.
Goodly medicine for my aching bones. world, thus is the poor agent despised. Oh, traders and bawds, how earnestly are you set at work, and how ill requited. Why should our endeavor be so loved, and the performance so loathed? Good traders in the flesh, set this in your painted cloths. As many as be here of Pandar's hall, your eyes half out, weep out at Pandar's fall. Or if you cannot weep, yet give some groans, though not for me, yet for your aching bones. Brethren and sisters of the hold door trade, some 2 months hence my will shall be made. Till then, I'll sweat and seek about for eases, and at that time bequeath you my diseases.
One and all, congratulations. Please come out here, take a bow, and give yourselves a huge round of applause. Congratulations, what a smashing show. Thank you to all of you watching all around the world at home. Thank you for joining us, and please allow me to introduce you to our cast and crew for this week, starting as always with our phenomenal producer, Sarah Peachy.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm an actor and innovation project manager based in Glasgow.
Our associate director, stage manager, and master of props, Emily Ingram.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a writer, director and stage manager based in Edinburgh in Scotland.
On music and sound, it's Adam K. Gibson.
Hi, I'm Adam Gibson. I'm a sound designer and composer based in London.
With thanks to movement and fight director Enrique Ortuño. Our cast put together tonight by the incredible Sydney Aldridge have put on a phenomenal show for you. And here they are as Troilus, Flinn McManus.
Hi there, I'm Flinn McManus. I'm an actor based in London. I am a very recent graduate of the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama.
As Ulysses, Justin Skelton.
Oh, I'm Justin. I'm an actor, director, and gardener based in Edinburgh.
As Cressida, Lebogang Fisher.
Hi everyone, I'm Lebogang Fisher, coming to you live from South Africa with the help of my brother.
Hi, bro. As Hector, Fleur de Wit.
Hello, my name's Fleur. I'm an actor and presenter and vintage jazz singer based in London.
As Pandarus, Austin Tichenor.
Hi, I'm Austin Tichenor. I'm a playwright and an actor and the co-artistic director of the Reduced Shakespeare Company, and I'm here in Chicago.
Amazing. As Agamemnon, Danielle Farrow.
Hello, I'm Danielle Farrow, actor based in Edinburgh, Scotland.
As Achilles, Sven Maertens.
Hi, I'm Sven Maertens. I'm a Belgian actor-singer living in London.
As Nestor, Christopher Polk.
Hi, I'm Christopher Polk. I'm an actor and lecturer, and I live in Brixton in London.
As AENEAS, Dana Demsko.
I am Dana. I'm an American actress based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
As Diomedes, Mark Holden.
Hi there, I'm a Canadian actor based in London, England.
As THERSITES, Zoë Land.
Hi, I'm Zoë Land. I'm a northern actress based in the south of France.
As Paris, Toby Trimby.
Hello, my name's Toby Trimby. I'm an actor based in London.
As AJAX, Benjamin Chandler.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Chandler. I'm an actor based in London.
As PATROCLUS, Olaf Aid.
Hey, I'm Olaf Ide, and I'm based in New York City.
Sorry, Olaf. Thought I got that right. Cultus, Sharon Ekman.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I am an actor, singer and writer, and I am based in Hertfordshire via London.
As Helen, Megan Jarvie.
Hello there, I'm Megan Jarvie. I'm an actor, voice actor and singer from Edinburgh, and I'm coming to you from London.
As Priam, King of Troy, it's Miriam Kersner.
Hi, I'm Miriam Kersner. I am a Canadian political scientist living in Richland, Washington.
As Menelaus, Jeff King.
Hello, I'm Jeff. I'm an actor and singer, and I'm based in Kent.
Wonderful. And our fantastic ensemble for this evening. First of all, Kit Maguire.
Hi, I'm Kit. I'm a London-based actor and writer, originally from Stratford-upon-Avon.
And Georgia Andrews?
I'm Georgia Andrews, a northern-blooded, European-raised, London-based actor covered in blood. Not real blood.
Brilliant. Stefano Guerriero.
Hi, my name is Stefano Guerriero. I'm an Italian actor based in London.
Marvellous. And Maya Cohen.
Hi, I'm Maya. I am normally based in Melbourne, an Israeli actress, but currently I'm in Israel.
Fabulous. And our valiant swings for this evening, who in the event of technical difficulties or personal emergencies would have swung in to keep the story moving forward. First of all, it's Nicholas Waters.
Hey, I'm Nicholas Waters. I'm a London-based actor.
And fantastic on the trumpet. And Elsa Tuxworth.
Hello, I'm Elsa. I'm an actor, student and Shakespeare nerd from Yorkshire.
Amazing. And then with a special appearance tonight, none other than our very own associate producer as Antenor, it's Matt Rhodes.
Hi, I'm Matthew Rhodes. I'm an emerging theatre artist on unceded Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh territory, also called Vancouver, Canada.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Matthew. Now, if anybody needs to go and clean themselves up after that extraordinarily muddy and bloody final battle, do feel free, of course, to go and do so. Audience members, please do get your questions in for our cast and crew. We'll be delighted to answer some of those before we sign off for the night. But before we get to that, we do have to say a huge thank you to Sydney Aldridge, our casting director for the show so far, as this is, sadly, the last show that she will be able to cast for us as she returns to full-time work in casting. Sydney was one of the very first people to join our team, and she was a brilliant match for the values we wanted to represent and champion from the beginning. Week in and week out, she composed fantastic and talented casts from around the world of all levels of experience, proactively reaching out to underrepresented groups so we could really say that Shakespeare is for everyone. She worked late, she worked early, she always, week in and week out, fought to make each cast the best it could possibly be, and we've all been beneficiaries of that graft. So Sydney, thank you so much for everything. Your contribution has been immense. We will miss you, and we wish you every success as you move forward in your career. We know, of course, that there's always more that we here at The Show Must Go Online can do to champion inclusivity in our casts, and we will continue to do so as much as we can as we now begin to work with new casting associates on the upcoming plays. If you are watching and have enjoyed the show and would like to take part, you can simply visit the homepage. There's a link in the video description and hit the Take Part button, then fill out the form to receive weekly casting invitations. So here we are at the end, the mountain scaled and summited and with aplomb. Congratulations to all of you. Really, really incredible work. I hope that we might start to get some questions trickling in by this point. Sarah, do we have anything from our audience thus far?
I haven't spotted anything yet, so we'll give them a little bit longer to just start coming through. But I did spot one earlier, which unfortunately we don't have Vanessa with us any longer, so she was probably our best bet to answer this. But if there's general thoughts on this, it would be interesting. But someone had asked how familiar would the audiences in Shakespeare's time have been with the Trojan Wars, and it's something I sort of wonder as well in terms of all of Shakespeare's histories. It tends to be more sort of rooted in English history, apart from obviously Julius Caesar that we've had so far. But yeah, so interesting to think kind of how much people would have already known about this.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I'll pitch in with just some generic trivia first, which is derived from the other plays in the chronology that we've covered so far. It was a really fascinating discovery that all of the references to the Trojan War in Shakespeare's plays up to this point were all made by the lower status characters. If you think about people like Pistol, Mistress Quickly, all the Eastcheap set, they would constantly refer back to the Trojan War because this was a really well-known, really popular tale among the illiterates, if you like, the groundlings, as we more politely call them nowadays. And so they would have known about this story for sure. And it would have been really popular with the groundlings. That makes it a little bit of a mystery as to why this play has been so much of a language play and has been done and presented in quite the way it has been, because, you know, maybe that's just yet another of one of those inversions that Shakespeare was looking to create through this play of expectation versus reality. You you expected a kind of popular entertainment prose heavy knockabout and instead got an incredibly dense linguistic labyrinth, which I've got to commend our actors for doing a phenomenal job of navigating over the past 2.5 days. Really tremendous. But yes, it would have been really well known at the time. There was a translation, I forget the name of the author, but there was a popular translation of it that Shakespeare almost certainly derived large chunks of this from, certainly in terms of plot and stuff like that, that would have come out maybe 5-10 years before Shakespeare wrote it. And so it's definitely another one of his opportunistic responses as opposed to what was hot at the time. But I'd love to throw it out because I know that we have some incredibly knowledgeable people in our cast. Miriam, Christopher and Danielle, I'm looking at you, not to put you on the spot too much, but I'm sure you have something interesting to say about this phenomenal piece.
I can offer a couple of bits from my research as the lowly actor, not expert. But yeah, so Chaucer had, in this period, there was a fascination all of a sudden, as Rob correctly said, with the Greeks and the Trojan War. They also started looking at it from a different point of view. Until then, everyone had been very like, the Greeks did this. And then at this point, we actually started looking at a different version of the tale, which was more focused on the Trojan side of it. However, being the time, they then started making stuff up. So Troilus' whole story in this is basically derived from Chaucer's version and a couple of others who came before him. But Chaucer made it a very sort of romantic hero. He didn't just let Cressida go to the Greeks, he fought for her. And Shakespeare decided that wasn't as fun as making him an arsehole. So I think that would have been really well aware because of Chaucer's tale, because Chaucer's tales got spread around so much. So they'd have been kind of expecting, oh, okay, here's the hero Troilus. And yeah, they didn't get that.
Wonderful.
That's all
wonderful. I know. Miriam, you must have something to say about this with your incredible background.
No, my husband's the military historian.
Ah.
I teach American government and international relations, modern international relations. So
not prehistoric, right?
But I will tell you that you could speak to him about this next week because he's in next week's show.
There we go. You see, so look forward to more military history with Measure for Measure. Danielle, anything you want to chip in?
No, I think it is fascinating the way that Shakespeare has changed a lot of things, you know, and he's kind of made things more personal. I think it was Calchas was actually one of the ones in some stories who prophesied that the winds wouldn't change and the Greeks would never get to Troy if Agamemnon didn't sacrifice his daughter because Agamemnon had managed to offend a goddess. But in this, Calchas is actually the father of Cressida, and there's a whole personal thing, and it does seem as if that's what he's doing.
Yeah, really nice point, really nice point. Sarah, any more questions from our lovely audience?
Yes, I've got a couple that have come through here. So actually, this is quite a nice one. So throw out to everyone. The question is, did any of the actors come to Troilus and Cressida loving this play already? And I thought I'll tag on something as well. It'd be interesting then to know actors who came who didn't know this one at all. So who loved the play?
Well,
I have always loved Thersites because the insults upon insults upon insults. You know, we already have all of these gums and cards and things that deal with Shakespeare and his curses and his insults, and no one manifests that more than Thersites. So that's what I always loved about this play.
Amazing. Over to you, Austin.
All I was going to say was that really up until about 6 to 8 weeks ago, really most of everything I knew about this play was Troilus, youngest son of Priam, king of Troy, loves Cressida. I'll get the wig from the complete works of Shakespeare. And it was about 6 weeks ago that I read this play for my book club, and I went, oh my gosh. And we talked about this, Rob. It feels like it's such a great, one of Shakespeare's many great satires and piss takes of heroes and power, and particularly with Thersites. I mean, but just throughout this treatment of everybody, it's jumped to one of my favorites. It's still problematic and difficult, but it is absolutely jumped to one of my favorites.
Wonderful. And then Christopher.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that if I could link those two questions, that I think you could conclude without doing too much research, that because this is such an amazing satire, that the audience would have to know quite a lot about the story already in order to appreciate it was a satire. I certainly came to this play a couple of weeks ago for the first time, never read it, never seen it. I had no idea. It was a huge, huge revelation. I had no idea. I mean, the whole thing, it's a complete mess. Nothing really happens, but it's just takes the whole piss out of Homer. And I mean, the whole idea of representing Achilles as a sort of cowardly, lazy thug who has somebody else kill Hector in itself is amazing. And then, yes, Thersites, who's the most foul-mouthed clown in the whole Shakespeare, probably is delicious. And then you have all this incredible language and meditations on the nature of society, on relationships between sexuality and violence, which is very modern. I mean, in the sense that it's only supposed to be looked at academically the last 30 years or so. Sex and war. So it was a great privilege to be able to get into the stuffed shirt of Nestor.
I've got to say, yeah, on the sex and violence thing, there are parts of this, Austin as well referenced that, this is a problematic play and there's no getting around that. It's uncomfortable how uncomfortable this is because of how close to where we are it still is, considering it's a story from, let's say, 3,000 years ago, for sake of argument. My Greek history is not the hottest, but if we say 3,000 years ago, written unupdated 400 years ago and performed today, and yet we're still dealing with some of the darkness in this play feeling as real now as it would have done then, and Chaucer, as you pointed out, Flynn, as a kind of stopgap in that as well. It kind of sucks that this still feels dangerously close to the bone. It would be lovely for us to get a bit more distance from this as a society, but it just goes to show that there's still so much more work to do on that. Emily Ingram, are you on the line?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I just wondered whether you might want to speak at all to the kind of explorations that we had over the rehearsal period of I guess, the necessity of patriarchy within the production of this play, if you like. It's dramatic necessity.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things Rob and I talked about quite a lot was how to give not only Cressida, but also the other female characters through this, a little bit more independence and a little bit more three-dimension. And I, with the help of the wonderful actors we've had the privilege to work with this week, I think we have managed to flesh out these characters. But the trouble with this play is, even if you try to take a strong, independent woman approach to these characters, all of the choices that these women are making for themselves are still being made under highly patriarchal conditions. And one of the things Vanessa said earlier in her introduction is these women, particularly Cressida, are damned if they do and damned if they don't. And that phrase really summarized what I'd been trying to articulate in our conversations, Rob, over the last couple of days. Even when, Cressida's going, okay, I need to survive in the Greek camp. Like, the thought's getting away from me a little bit, Rob, but do you want to sort of take back over from our discussion about our discussion?
Certainly. I mean, it was just the fact that, we when I was doing research into the play, which is a very lightning fast process, obviously, because I read the plays on a Thursday, and we're editing it simultaneously. We're casting on a Friday if we haven't kind of filled the last of the roles by that point. I'm doing dramaturgy such as it is on Saturday, so I have one day to get into the guts of these plays. And everything that I was finding through the whole history was that Cressida was either a victim or a villain. and it was up to you where you wanted to put her on those on a tension between those two poles. And we went, no, we're going to make these two dots a triangle, and we're going to put survivor up at the top. And I think by trying to make her a survivor that had to play a game and play to win, because the stakes for losing were so big, meant that the inherent ugliness of the world wouldn't stop her from having any dimension or agency, I suppose, but nevertheless meant that the choices that she had were all shit choices by what we would prefer her to have, I suppose. Emily, yeah, jump back in.
Absolutely. And I think the text totally supports that. I mean, she refers to Diomedes as guardian at one point, and essentially he is. It doesn't really matter whether Cressida loves him or not, has a romantic relationship with him. She kind of has to latch on to someone within the Greek camp in order to protect herself, because in ancient Greek society, women were literally viewed as property and literally viewed as objects. You know, Aristotle, who's referred to slightly anachronistically in this script, his views on women were absolutely horrific, and you know, helped inform a lot of views on women that came after, including, you know, Thomas Aquinas, who influenced a lot of you know, Western philosophy that still continues down today. It was a hugely patriarchal society, not that the one we're living in isn't.
And a slave-owning society, let's not forget as well. Fleur, over to you.
I was just going to say that I think it's interesting, like you guys refer to Troilus and Cressida as a problem play or problematic play, which I think it totally is, but I think there's an interesting like tension for women and non-white people performing Shakespeare, like Vanessa was alluding to in her intro. Like any Shakespeare play, is always the question of, you know, we love it and appreciate the language, but it's like, how do you find an empowering way to inhabit something written by an amazing white man? And like, I think Lebogang navigated that beautifully, but I think that's kind of something that always comes up for anyone who's not a white guy.
Absolutely, no, great point and well worth making. Thank you, Fleur, for that. Lebu, let's hear from you. You had to do it. You had to go through it. How was that? How was the experience of being Cressida?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the really great things about this format, about doing it on Zoom, is that we have so much space to also to play and explore, but also in reality, if we were in a theater and you saw me next to all of these 5 men, you know, there would be there's also a kind of different sense of the stakes as well, the pure physicality of it, which we tried to capture, which I think we did really, really well. And sort of, I felt guilty for feeling like I'm having fun doing this. You know, which is such a like strange thought to sort of reconcile in your head. But agreeing with Emily and also Rob, we also spoke a bit about this. It is entirely, you know, for Cressida, there's really only 2 options. And the one option is to essentially fight back against the system, which how do you even do that? Or find a way to play the system and play within the system to better yourself or to ensure that you live, because that's what it comes down to. She needs to live. Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Sarah, do we have any more questions from our wonderful audience for this evening?
Yes, I've had a couple come through. So one of the other questions was, which is quite an interesting one, was the love story between Troilus and Cressida or Achilles and Patroclus?
Both. Why do you have to pick one? But I must say, I'd love to hear from Olaf and Sven on that relationship, because I thought it was brought to life so beautifully and subtly, but still powerfully. And that's an incredible needle to thread. So congratulations to you both, first of all. But also, how was it? How was that experience?
Hi.
Hi.
Is Sven there?
Yes, take the lead, Olaf. I'll be the second wave.
So the question was the love story between...
Was the love story between Troilus and Cressida or between Achilles and Patroclus, was the question.
Yeah, I would say both is a good answer for that. I mean, the tragedy came through for me preparing for Patroclus was, I mean, Achilles was moved to such passion when he died. And they grew up together. They've been by each other's side their entire lives. So yeah, I think Patroclus and Achilles kind of provide like an aside view, like with the audience, like, because Patroclus at least is very intentionally is very much a conscious objector, very hippy dippy mode at this point, and very much in love with Achilles.
Absolutely. There was a wonderful moment that our audience pointed out during the live chat, which I clocked, which was about your reaction when Achilles mentions this letter that he's received from Polyxena, and his vow to her being the strongest thing. I just wonder if you could talk us through what was going through Patroclus's head when he was hearing about this letter and this love decree from Achilles.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily, it wasn't like superficial jealousy, if that's what it read, but it was more like, it's when the context of the war and the conflict starts to swirl with Patroclus, because at first it's just totally non-existent. I mean, they are basking in a tent, eating, drinking, doing who knows what else with each other. And at that point, he knows that they are having to go into battle again. And Patroclus has proved himself to Achilles, like, look, I can fight. I'm a great fighter, and yeah, I think with the letter, it's Patroclus is a silent observer, like the audience is, of the absurdity of these men, and he knows himself too. He's like, my God, there's just too much testosterone here. And that's why I think the interaction with the kissing of Cressida is very specific for Patroclus. Still, weird, but yeah, I tried to, finagle in some empathy and, lightness with Patroclus.
Wonderful. And then Sven, as the representative, arguably the pinnacle of that very masculinity that there's too much of, the testosterone that there's too much of, what was that relationship like on Achilles' side?
I think how I viewed the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles, it was almost like Achilles was so comfortable, and so he basically thought Patroclus was just always going to be there, and he took him for granted. And it was that sort of relationship, like, yes, there was love, there might have been more, but because Patroclus was always there, was such a good friend and more, it was just, okay, well, he's there, so I can do everything else, and that doesn't matter because I know he'll always be there, and I can always go back to him, which therefore just diminishes the relationship between them, because in the eyes of Patroclus, it might not be as big of a thing as it actually is, and maybe it's also a little bit of a compensation thing in Achilles' mind, be like, I have my more emotional, effeminate moments with Patroclus out the view of everybody else, so then I need to bring out the masculinity and be that alpha male a lot more outside, so that in my own spirit, in my own mind, I can balance that. That's how I sort of approached it.
Really interesting. Really interesting. Thank you both. Sarah, any more questions from our lovely audience? Probably got time for 2 more, maybe.
Sure, yes. So actually, just quickly off the back of the question there, I had a question for Lebu. Someone asked, do you believe Cressida still truly loved Troilus?
Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, I think she does, because I mean, given the knowledge that she has anyway, like in the beginning of the play, just track her journey. Even then, she doesn't have anyone. She doesn't have her father near her, her uncle's looking after her, but she finds someone that she likes and that she admires. And at least sexually, that she's like, oh, I'm interested in this person and they're interested in me. and they hit it off, and that's something that like helps her in her day to day, and is also she latches onto as a woman who is alone, and she loves him, and obviously then she's traded and her love is undermined, and she has to deal with that. Yeah,
absolutely. Sarah, any more questions?
Yes, I have got one here that would be great to get everyone's thoughts on this one. Do we think this might be the most cynical and bitter of Shakespeare's plays?
I mean, if you're a fan of bitter flavors, stick around, because we're entering a particularly bitter period in the chronology at this point. We've got Measure for Measure next week, then we've got Othello, then All's Well, and there's plenty more bitterness ahead.
Timon of Athens is on its way.
Timon of Athens. Ooh. Oh, yes, Matt. You might just have pegged the one thing that might knock this off that particular perch. Absolutely. Timon. Although, I guess at least Timon, the first half, he's having a good time, right? So, like, in this one, nobody's enjoying themselves the whole play. Oh, wow. Anybody else got a view on whether there's a more cynical play in the canon than this one?
I think, again, it's kind of about context. So, confession, I knew nothing of this play until I was looking at reading to be cast in it. And then when I was casting it, I was reading it, desperately trying to fill my head with it. And I didn't get it because I'm a fool. But Rob, in one of his initial emails, said something which really struck it off for me, which I've kind of got here. Which is about, this is very much like Alan Moore's Watchmen and Amazon TV's The Boys, but also Garth Ennis and Derek's The Boys. I know a lot about comic books, way more than I do classical literature, to my shame. However, what that helps you understand is that two of the groundlings of the time, Achilles, Ajax, Hector, Troilus, are these heroes. They are superheroes. You've heard legends of things they've done. And then you get this play that across 4 hours, 5 hours, if we stuck to the original text, shows them to be absolute, I can't say the word because we're being family friendly, but they're all terrible. Cressida and Helen are the only ones seemingly with any sense about them because they can work out how to survive, while the rest argue over a horse by the end. Troilus is after Diomedes for his horse, not even his woman. They are shown to be just lacking in the moral fiber that Christianity at the time was preaching so heavily. So yeah, that understanding of, oh wait, kind of makes you go, yeah, this is a really cynical play. And with all the references to STDs and stuff as well, and as the audience of the globe would have been made of whores and pimps and people selling dodgy things on the side, it's not only saying your heroes are not who you thought they are, it's also saying you're pretty crappy too.
I think there's an extraordinary accusation from PANDARUS at the end, or at least an extraordinary offer that it says, you know, I'm going to seek out easers, so I'm going to go and seek out prostitutes and therefore give you my diseases. I think there is definitely an implication being made, or an accusation being made there by PANDARUS at the very end. That no one escapes this play unsullied, do they? You know, it's yeah, it's dark.
Can I just add quick? Someone said in the chat that their young brother had said women are superheroes too, and I don't know what I phrased there to mislay that information. Of course they are. It's just at that time they were looking at male superheroes. When Watchmen came out, it was all male superheroes. Wonder Woman made me emotional. It was an awesome movie. Next one. I'm done.
Brilliant. Brilliant. All right, one more question, Sarah, and then we'll call it a night.
Cool. So, so the last one I've got here. Oh, actually, I'll put this one to you because it should be a bit quicker. The question was, why orange for the Trojans? And someone's correctly spotted that we're quite often fond of red and blue for our team colours.
It was the two. Now, first of all, I need to start by saying that I am fully aware that Troy is in fact in eastern Turkey, not in Greece. However, it does feel like the story has been inherited from the Greeks, and the Greeks have two principal types of pottery. Some that is white and blue, and some that is black and orange. And so I simply took the same red and blue distinction that we've done umpteen times on this show and applied it to the primary colours for each respective team and using Grecian urns as the influence. And Emily, I wonder if you'd like to sign us off by giving us some of the wonderful Easter eggs that were blossomed out of the costume design for this week.
Yeah, so Sven, have you got your armour still to hand there? Thank you very much. So each character had a customization that they could add to their armor if the actors had time, inclination, it worked with what they were doing. And Sven's for Achilles represents the sea because, of course, Achilles is the son of not a nymph. I cannot remember exactly.
Thetis, goddess of the sea.
Who's not a nymph, but one of those kind of things that hang out with Poseidon in the sea. And then for Troilus, we have the sun, because I believe there is something to do with Apollo in Priam's background, allegedly. And so I kind of went, oh, you're related to Priam, so we'll give you the sun. That one was a little bit of a loose connection. And then who else do we have who's got a thing on their armor? Give me a wave. Antenor. So Antenor is allegedly the dude who like undid the bolt on either the gate or the horse, depending on which version of the myth you're using, to let the Greeks in. And he hung a panther skin above the door of his home so that the Greeks wouldn't pillage his house. So we put panthers on Matthew's armor. And then, is there anyone else?
Got Menelaus?
I'll go to Menelaus. Menelaus, I, honest to God, can't remember why I gave you that. I'm really sorry. Reason at the time, but I, honest to God, can't remember what it is.
Nestor?
Nestor has the oars because Nestor was one of the Argonauts. And then Agamemnon has a bunch of grapes because there is a family curse in Agamemnon's line, which goes back to Tantalus, whose punishment was to be standing in a pool of water in the underworld with a fruit tree, often depicted as a grape tree, hanging above him that he just can't quite reach. And so we incorporated that in. Do we have anyone else with armor design?
From which we get the word tantalizing, if anyone's interested in lame stuff like that. And also the Nereids is, I think, is the name of those sea nymphs that you're looking for.
Yes, not nymphs. Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue. And then we have Aeneas, who has a tree branch, because one of the things Aeneas had to do was find a golden bough, which is where we get the book on mythology, the name of the book on mythology, The Golden Bough, from. So we incorporated a kind of skeletal tree design into Aeneas's costume to represent Aeneas going to the next life with that golden bough and that sort of skeletal death-like thing. Anyone else want to wave armor and bits of tinfoil at me? Or
Ajax?
Ajax, what have you got? Is it a...
It's a raven, I think, is it? Or an eagle?
Oh, you've got an eagle. Why do you have an eagle? I don't remember why you have an eagle. I don't remember. I'm sorry. You've got an eagle for a good reason. But I don't remember.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end. It's fine. Trust us that there were good reasons for all of these things. If you look into your Greek mythology, I hope this encourages you to do so, and you'll be able to find out more about that symbolism. Sorry, Emily, go quickly.
I'll put it on the Patreon.
Let's put it on the Patreon. That's right. So if you're interested to find out why it is that Ajax has an eagle on his armor, we will put that onto the Patreon for you. So you better donate to find out that tantalizing piece of trivia. Wonderful. So that's everything for this week. Thank you all so much. Please join us next week for Shakespeare's, as it's often referred to now, Me Too play, Measure for Measure. It's another one of the problem plays. They're coming thick and fast at this time in his writing for whatever reason. Thank you all so much for staying with us till the bitter end. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the Patreon, buy some merch, see about a Shakespeare deck if you fancy it. Thank you and good night.